What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Guys, Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we're going to break down exactly how to get into wholesaling real estate with $0 at all. That is right. How do you get into wholesaling with no money? I'm excited. Are you pumped up today?
I'm pumped up. I'm trying to figure out what's behind us here.
All right. That is he's the dog from Adventure Time.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. You know
That's
what?
a dog?
That's a dog.
It's cute.
Oh my gosh. But guys, he is jamming. We're here to jam. We're ready to go. Ready to really share exactly how to get into wholesaling real estate. You got no money at all. We're going to talk to everyone today, really, and really break down exactly how to help them out in their wholesaling businesses, guys. We're going to talk to some one-on-ones also today, do some one-on-one coaching, exciting. Everyone asks, how do I join the one-on-one coaching calls? It seems so private, so secluded, like thousands of dollars of just value. Like thousands of dollars of just like value we give on those. And people ask like, how like do we do this live? And how isn't like, because they see thousands of people watch these videos, but like only like, 10, 15 people get on. It's like a special lottery. Literally everyone actually is able to join these one-on-ones. All you got to do is head over to Wholesaling Houses for Real. That is our private mastermind. It's a free Facebook group.
Free.
It's free. It's Wholesaling Houses for Real. Everyone watching this, everyone in Wholesaling Houses for Real, just go to the announcements. The link is right there. We got some people already hopping on. Pretty exciting. I gave that link out on YouTube. Get everyone a little taste of what you get if you go to Wholesaling Houses for Real on Facebook. It is one of the largest wholesaling groups out there, and the fastest growing wholesaling group on Facebook. And that's because we have 3 rules in this group. That is no selling and only providing value. And my favorite rule of all, no gurus. So
No gurus, yeah.
Pretty excited. We're pumped up today. So let's get it going. Are you jacked up today?
I'm jacked up. I could probably raise it another level.
How do you raise another level?
You do it by playing this video.
What video? Get up.
Let's go. Get up.
Let's go.
Come
Woo!
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, again, they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Let's go. I'm jacked up. I'm ready to go. I think everyone's ready to go today. I mean, guys, I know the value that we're going to provide and just drop for you guys today. So I'm super excited to bring it. Super excited just to talk to everyone here and share exactly how to get into wholesaling real estate today. Guys, do me one big favor. What's the thing they should do?
You need to give a thumbs up right now.
Smash that like button.
And smash that subscribe button to continue to receive the absolute best up-to-date information on wholesaling today from people that actually do the business. And we flip properties, not students.
I'm telling you, that's it. And pretty exciting. I want to show you this. I think this is pretty cool because this gets me jacked up. Like, why do we do what we do? Why are we always jacked up to help people? Because we got people new. Like Maria, this is her first live ever watching us. That's kind of crazy.
Let's see if she makes it through it.
She can make it through it. I believe in her. I know, because we got people, like Olivia, Olivia's always been on here. She's always providing value. She's always commenting. Stoney's here. Like Barbara is always here.
I saw someone from Hawaii on here.
Hawaii, I think we've talked to Marley. I remember you, Marley. I think Marley's in Indianapolis. I could get that wrong, but I know Marley. I remember talking to him. Back when we did the OG Zooms back in the day. Pretty crazy, it's exciting. In the kitchen whipping and flipping to this intro. I love it, guys. So this is exciting. So really the topic today is how to get into wholesaling real estate with no money. I like to really give a huge, not not general video, but really bring the people who have no money at all in wholesaling real estate. I feel like they're one of the ones who are the most neglected in this industry. You got money, these gurus will take your money and tell you to go do SMS or whatever, get VAs. But the people who have no money at all, these gurus are just like, well, get $5,000 and give it to me and I'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
I feel like these people are the most neglected and they need the most help from us. These are the 15, 16, 17, 18, that 7-year-olds getting started in wholesaling real estate. These are the people that actually need help from us today. And that's who we want to talk about. So this is the age-old questions like, hey, Rick, I call you Rick just to make it easier for you because I say dad. Everyone's like, who's dad?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, you're learning about wholesaling. You think it's cool. You see a couple of people flashing the Rolexes, the Ferraris. How do you get into this business with no money?
Well, actually, in a way, I'm just going to give you my theory. I find a lot of people actually can do better by not having money, because if you don't have money, you're going to have to trade up your sweat equity and your time, and you're really going to have to pay attention. So when you don't have money, I can tell you right now that it's 100% possible, because I started on wholesaling with very, very little money. And I'm talking about like $300 to $500, which is not a lot of money, but if you can put in the time and the sweat equity, this doesn't require money. I'm here to tell you, any type of company you want to find or get started, a good company's founded on its ability to help people and produce income. So a lot of people think you can throw $100,000 at a company and it will make some things easier, but a lot of times most people will take your money. So when you have money, the first people to take it are going to be the gurus, because they're going to say, listen, follow me. I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step. What they don't tell you is when they take your first 5 or 10 grand, then they're going to ask you to invest another 5 to 10 grand. Well, anybody can invest 5 to 10 grand to make it work.
Rick, that's great. You invested 5,000, but you really should be in the platinum group.
Yeah.
That's an extra 4,000 or 5,000.
But it has been going on like forever. So one of the reasons we founded this channel is, guys, there's just no more secrets in wholesaling. If you think you can pay someone 5 or 10 grand to teach you how to wholesaling, I'll tell you what, me and Zach will teach you how to do it for free, 100%. And I got 19 years backing me up. I've taught him how to do it. I'm telling you right now, it's not that complicated, guys. There's just too many people out there who are eager to take your money. And the problem is, when you pay them, your problems just start. And I'm not saying they're all bad, but for the most part, if you're starting out wholesaling, start here on this channel first. I'm not taking your money, so I have no reason to spin you. So you get the truth here. When you talk to a guru, they're going to tell you why they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, no matter what you say to them. And then once you take your money, watch how the role quickly flips on you. I don't switch my attitude. The way you see me and Zach here on this video, if you run to us in person, it's exactly who we are. So I just don't get the whole guru thing. So a lot of you thinking paying $5,000 or $10,000 to someone's going to fix your problem and going to make you magically wealthy in wholesaling, it won't. They're not going to teach you anything differently than I do or Zach does.
I agree. The ego in some of these gurus are crazy. I remember one person saying on a pod, because I listen to so many I just get a pulse of people even talking about wholesaling. They're like, I have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, which that's great. It's very impressive, but they're like, I get stopped at the supermarket like 4 times to get pictures. I'm like, they think they're like Drake going out there, or like Michael Jackson going out there to a supermarket. And everyone's talking. Person, we have a good amount of followers. We haven't been stopped once by anyone. Like, no, I just feel people think like they're this, like they got this big ego, like they're the greatest thing ever. Like, guys, wholesaling is such a small community. And that's one thing I think a lot of people need to learn starting out is it's such a small community, which is great to network. You can get in front of probably the best players really easily. But also remember that, you don't burn bridges. You're going to get ruined. So I think one of the most important parts about me starting with no money and you starting no money is it stops a lot of people. Why a lot of people quit is if you have no money, your expectations are very low. I would say, a really good saying that I live by this quote. I think this is a great quote. I know you do too, is happiness equals expectations minus reality. Expectations minus reality is happiness. So if you're going into wholesaling real estate, you have 10 grand and you're like, I'm going to make $50 million doing this. And then you don't make $5 million that year. You're going to be upset that you're not doing that. I know a lot of, a lot of 7-figure wholesalers that are making $5 million a year. And like everyone's watching this and like, oh my God, if I can make 5 million.
Yeah.
And they're making 5 and they just can't get to 6 and they're depressed and they're stressed because they can't get to 6 million from 5 million. It really comes down to your expectations. And I think the cool part about us is when you got your first deal, when I got my first deal, I made 20 grand. I was like,
the light bulb goes.
I wasn't expecting, like, if I got $1 grand, I'd be happy. So it's expectations minus reality, especially when you're starting out. If you're going out there expecting to make 100K in a month and you don't, you're going to be really upset at yourself, but you could be crushing wholesaling starting out.
But here's the problem. All the gurus out there tell you, oh, I make 6 figures a month. I do this, guys. It's all ego. So I will tell you this. If you're looking at a coach, a guru, a mentor, whatever you want to call them, and all you hear about is talking about their ego, if you don't understand what I'm saying, if all you are seeing flashy cars, flashy studios, airplane in the background, I do this, I do that, here's my Airbnb house, dude, run, because they're spending so much time to impress you. You got to wonder, what is it you're trying to impress me on? And 9 times out of 10, they're just trying to get you to buy their course because they think by buying your course, you're going to get their lifestyle. And the reality, if you find out what their lifestyle is, it's nothing near to what they boast and brag about. So I never brag about my lifestyle. I do well, but like I aspire to like bigger and better things. I want you to define your why. So your why is why you got into wholesaling. Okay. Listen, we all want to be happy. I see people make a lot of money that are absolutely miserable in life. And my why is to get more freedom, get financial freedom, and have more time with my family. So that's how this guy wound up sitting next to me, because I clearly defined what I wanted in life. So if you figure out what you truly want, the money will follow. It's just a question of how much time do you want to trade like for your money.
I agree. I think personally, you don't talk about this at all. We don't usually talk about this to all, but like you got to remember why you're getting started in this business. And especially when you're starting out with no money, I truly believe, I think I'm going to get in trouble saying this. You probably have an advantage starting out with no money than if you had money.
You do, because you have to pay attention. So a lot of times you throw money at stuff. It doesn't mean you're making money. You're paying what you think are experts and gurus. And I will tell you, they will be happy to take your money. The truth about gurus out there, for every testimony you'll see, there's 8 or 9 other people that failed. It's just the truth, guys.
It's the truth.
And that's what, like, you've got to understand. Most people who buy the courses, 70% of them never take any action. And because they thought buying that course, it would have solved their problem. And I'm here to tell you right now, it's that the market's just too easy to try to take your money. It really is. It does come up to you. So we get this argument all the time from naysayers, call them haters, call them gurus, whatever you want. If you don't have skin in the game, you'll never... Dude, it's a bunch of crap.
I just don't want anyone watching this thinking they need money, guys. It's cool, like, in wholesaling, like it's a cool mindset thing for me, knowing that I had no money starting out. So I had to go do very hard stuff. You had to do very hard stuff starting out. Really, already door knocking with you, kind of bandit signs more with me. But the cool part is that taught me one of the most important lessons. We had a lot of, the sports we did in high school, that's a great mental thing. But I could tell you hands down, wholesaling real estate's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So the way I did bandit signs, the way I did door knocking, you did door knocking, the mindset knowing I was broke, I had to actually go out there and do the stuff that was not fun. That forged something in my mind, and it forged just a mindset that I will literally do nothing. Like, there is nothing that'll get my way of getting this deal. I have nothing. The coolest part about having $0 is it's very hard to go backwards from there. You can only improve when you're starting out like that. And you don't get discouraged because you're going out there, and we have the tools. So guys, really quick, last plug we're going to do today, but freewholesaling.com. That's our start to finish guide for free on wholesaling. Got no money. That's how you do it. we don't have 20 hours today, unfortunately. I know you're upset. We can't do a 20-hour live today. But let's kind of talk about some strategies when you're starting out with no money. You know,
Okay, let's
like,
go.
Let's kind of do our story starting out. So I would say mine really quick. You know, I had no money starting out. I went from bandit signs, basically, made a bunch of money with there. Code enforcement hired a bunch of people, and I had to switch up. I did cold calling, and then kind of ramped that up from there. You know, all with no money, basically. You kind of got your start different ways. We're not going to brag about the good old days where you go get an on-market property, make 30, 40K.
But back then there was very little information, and everything was the complete Wild West. So I was at a corporate job when I did it, when he was about yay high, and I just hated every minute of the job. So I know there's a lot of people in this live that can probably connect. So I worked for a large corporation that required 10 to 12 hours of my time a day, 6 days a week. And I just wasn't going to get anywhere. And I was in the job 10 years plus. And so I did the college thing. I tried everything my parents did. Love my parents to death, but our parents, they're guilty of giving us very bad financial blueprints.
I agree 100% with that one.
It's just the truth, guys.
Joke.
No. So the good news is by you watching this is you can break the cycle. So I broke the cycle with my kids, and money is just about you learning like how to take care of it and make it grow. Before I did any of this, and I didn't do this till I was 33, guys. I just learned how to spend it and set stuff 401k and retire. I don't even understand what retirement is anymore because I never have to retire because I just use my mind for what I want to do. So where was I going with all this?
You're basically, when you started out, you know, you did a lot of door knocking. You did a lot of the rough,
rough
and tough
and by
stuff.
the way, I did have some money, but I didn't want to risk any of it because I didn't know if wholesaling was going to work out. So here's what I did. I bought 3 or 4 properties on my good credit when I started. And then I'm like, what do I do now? And that's when I figured out how to figure out wholesaling. And once I did wholesaling, I learned it didn't require any of my own money. I was in shock. So what I did is it had the maximum game with the least amount of risk. You just had to learn how to talk the lingo, how to find motivated sellers, and kind of the rest is history. I wound up doing, my plan was to get out of my job in 1 year. It took me about 5 or 6 months. And one of my happiest days of life is walking into my boss's office and firing myself.
I almost got in trouble there.
What's that?
You almost got in trouble there.
What did I do?
Your happiest day of your life is supposed to be your wedding day.
No. Oh yeah, and then when my kids were born. So one of my top 5 happiest days born. But it was.
Get you in trouble there.
I'm just telling you, once I had my why, I'm like, what, why am I doing this? And trust me, I did door knocking. And I was petrified. But I figured if I can't get one person out of these 300 people on this list to sell me a property, I'm probably not cut out for this. And I went in, and to be honest, I got my teeth kicked in the first like 200, but I figured it out real quick. And then once I did that, I did door knocking. And then I taught other people how to do door knocking. And then I worked with real estate agents, and I educated them. Hey, if you ever find a deal like this, call me. And I just worked it out, but I didn't really have a secret course I could go to at the time. I had to like take this guy to lunch. I had to buy this guy something, and that's how it evolved. I will tell you some of the courses back in like 04 to like 06, they were actually very powerful. Fast forward to today, you have no idea if the person's teaching you actually does this in real time.
That's how we teach it. So what are some of the strategies if you're getting started wholesaling with no money to get it going? So I always say, I think acquisitions, you have money, you don't have money. It's the same principle, right? Like,
dude, all you need is one deal and you got money.
That's the thing. So we can go into acquisitions, dispositions with no money, but like they're kind of the same. I think the big difference when you have no money with other wholesalers is what's the difference between you right now with no money versus us and our wholesaling? It's the acquisitions is you need no money for acquisition. Just get in front of the seller, right? You don't need money for that. You don't need money really with Facebook to find buyers. It's really the marketing. It's like finding that seller. That's the thing you have to do.
It's an art.
What?
It's like an art form.
It's an art. So what are the marketing strategies when you're broke as a joke, you got no money, what to do? So I would say hands down, you're going to get in trouble for me in saying this, but you know this is the truth. I would say hands down, I can confidently say this with 100% confidence. Cold calling is the number one strategy. You're brand new in this business. You have no money at all. The greatest thing you could possibly do is cold call. If you're scared to get in front of sellers, even better. I can tell you right now, we had a guy comment. I forgot who it was. They commented, they're like, Zach, I have 80 drive for dollars leads. I was scared. I think it was, oh my gosh, his name was Yo Donnie, but I forgot what his name was. I think Jason, but I got to make sure. He's in Myrtle Beach. He had 80 driving for dollars leads. I know he's watching. Shout out to him. 80 driving for dollars lead, and he was like, I'm scared to call them. Guess what he said on the comment yesterday?
What?
I called 20 and I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's the truth about it. Like, the hardest person's doing, like,
it's the anxiety that kills you, like, more than the actual task. I'm telling you right now that, like, you could name it about anything. You could, like, if you don't want to clean the dishes, just thinking about it for 20 minutes is worse. Just go and get it done. It might take you 10 minutes, but like, you're done. It's the same thing when we talk about cold calling, SMS, when you're cold calling back any of your leads. What's the worst they're going to do to you? They're going to hang up on you, tell you to.
True. You and me like running. You know, if you have to wake up in the morning, do like a 10-mile run.
I hate it, man.
You hate it, but guess what? Once you hit mile 1, you're like, all right, you're good. You know?
I hate just driving to the gym, just thinking about it a little bit. It's like, God, it's going to hurt.
Guess what? That's what happens. David Goggins in the car behind you. He's ready to go. He's ready to talk to you.
Listen, you guys ever want to get, what's the name of his book? Can't Hurt Me?
Can't hurt. I think just anything on David Goggins. Just
if you're ever feeling sorry for yourself about, like, oh, I can't pump myself up to do something like this, dude, this guy.
Don't listen to him around kids. He's not the perfect person around kids.
He's got some foul language on it, but he's he has a mental capacitor. He has a mental I don't know how to say it correctly. His governor is broken on his mental. Nothing stops him. Like, nothing stops him.
And that's the way you have to be in this business.
You do. So you have to get past it. You have to. The goal really as a wholesaler is count your activity level. So if you're frustrated with how things are going, keep a sheet, a log, and count how many people you talked to today.
I'll tell you this, though,
in person, on the phone, emails, everything. And you got to, your goal is to push that number. When you start looking at it, I go, well, I only talked to 3 people today. I go, well, that might be your problem when we started.
That's the truth. But here's the cool part. All right. I'm going to give you a quick, not a story, but most people, when they used to cold call, they used to cold call 2-3 hours, like, at most, right? Back in the day, 2015, 16.
Yeah.
Everyone told me when I started out, 3 hours was the most you can do before you go crazy, you know? And David Goggins has this really good quote in his book, and he kind of says this in interviews, which I love. You know this quote. It's kind of the governor thing. He said, most people have a governor in their brain that cuts them off. So let's say you have 100% capacity of effort. Your governor shuts down probably at like 50 to 60, okay?
They said 40%.
And he says 40. I'm calling it 60 for like mental stuff, not physical.
Yeah.
And I think that's the truth about wholesaling. So most people, like, the governor in their brain is like, everyone around me, they only cold call 3 hours. You know what I said? I said, let me do 5.
Yeah.
You know, I got to be like, I'm broke. I have no money. I have to do what others won't to get results that others don't. Inky Johnson quote. So I did 5 hours, and it was insane for the average person. But guess what? Now 5 hours is the standard. I remember we used to do lives, and we used to do an hour, and we were like, oh my God, we did a full hour. Oh, we're doing 2 hours a day, you know? It's all mental to a point, and just the more you do it, like, it's the same thing with cold calling, you know?
Maybe I should make some Rick Ginn recordings, just kind of like,
oh my God,
just cold call 500 more right now, you know, just kind of like, I love David Goggins. I could never be David Goggins, but I will tell you, man, that guy teaches you, like, to man it up. So if, like, you ever need, like, some tough love, good read, good audio book, keep the kids out of it.
Yes. But the way we're kind of talking about this is a lot of people starting out, they think, like, you know, there's a limit. Like, how much should I be market? This is my favorite question. Someone who has no money. It's like, how much should I really market? How many motivated sellers should I talk to get a deal? As many as you possibly can.
As many as you can to get a contract.
I say this, like, go ahead. We're talking.
A lot of people go, well, Rick, how many cold calls do I have to make till I get a deal? I go, it's the wrong question.
I think
you can't there. I wish I could tell you, but, like, everyone who tells you it's just lying, because we're all in different markets. I tell you what, make 10,000 calls and then let me know how it's going. That's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't know if you're going to get it on the first call or the 100,000th call. A lot of it is how well you're prepped, how well you've prepared for your objections, and how well you're connecting with your motivated sellers. What are you looking up?
Well, I'm showing you. So this is a book about Elon Musk, the richest man on the earth right now.
Elon Musk, my God.
So what?
Go.
What?
We're talking about rockets?
This is pretty close. Elon Musk has a very good quote on how he approaches work and getting results done, especially when he did everything himself. Create all these. I think it's pretty important to study the richest, smartest men ever. You can use this into wholesaling. So one quote I always say about him, which I think everyone brand new should listen to this, is the way Elon Musk approaches rockets should be the way, and work should be the way you approach wholesaling real estate with your marketing. What he does is, hey, statistically, if I work 8 hours a day at this one rocketry problem, I'll have a 70% chance of getting it done,
Yeah.
If I cold call 5 hours a day for a month straight, I probably have a 60% chance of getting a deal. Well, Elon says, well, if you did 12 hours a day, you could probably increase your chance of success to like 90. And if you if you do marketing for let's bump it up to 8 hours a day, your chance of getting a deal and pulling more lists and talking to more sellers just increases. So you can putting more work into marketing. I always get asked this question. The more time you spend marketing to sellers, the better chance of getting a deal that month. And it's not an exact difference, but if you want to increase your chance of getting a deal from 60 to 80%, most of the time you need to just get in front of more sellers, right? It's statistics, right?
Guys, it's activity level. How many people can you reach out to? And I will tell you this, even if you're new to it and you have no experience, just by talking to thousands of motivated sellers, you'll get really good. Like, trust me,
yeah.
You'll be terrible in the beginning, but that's why you got us with freewholesaling.com. I'm not going in your back pockets. So lose your excuse. We're already saving you 5 to 10 grand right off the bat, and you're getting the best training out there. So the biggest secret in this business is you actually have to go out and do it. It actually has very little to do with money. And people are like, well, I got money because I didn't have to pay the coaching. I tell people, just set it aside, maybe do a little bit of marketing list, and then find the marketing media channel that you're most passionate about and go all in. But if you can make it work with very little money and you get a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, I don't care if a $5,000 wholesaling check, you've just proven your point that wholesaling works, and it's up to you what you do with it there. Then you just have to constantly repeat it. And as you get better and your skills get higher, your margins go up, deals come much easier, everything comes predictable, and you can settle down in life. But I will tell you, the first few months, it's freaky, man, because you're doing something completely different. You're like, how am I going to make this work? And a lot of people panic on that. And that's where you got to settle down. You got to get a game plan. You definitely have to have a marketing plan, and you got to move forward. Who cares if it takes you 3 or 4 months to get a deal? If you get it in your first 30 days or your first year, it's completely up to you. And guys, stop looking to the left and the right of what everybody's doing. This is not a race. The race is for you to provide for your family and get your why. So if your why is about spending more more time with your family, then do that. But stop worrying about what Johnny's doing to the left or Susie's doing to the right. It doesn't matter. Everybody has different situations. And when you compare it, people get frustrated. And here's my last little rant on it. When you guys says, I heard, or they say, when you hear words like that, you need to discount them right away. Anybody on the internet has the ability to type anything. It's just an opinion. You cannot take advice from people that actually don't do the business. I love everybody in these streams, but the reality is, if you don't want to walk a mile in that person's shoes, do not let them influence on how they advise you on wholesaling, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think the biggest flex you have is, the time you're able to spend with your family. So let's get it going. So let's talk about it. So let's get some people on here. Let's kind of talk and see how we can help them out. I think we help a lot of people doing that. If you guys want the link, I'm going to say it. I've said this a million times, but go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. This is our Facebook group right here. Wholesaling Houses for Real. This is our Facebook group, right? Largest wholesaling mastermind in the country. Here's the truth, right? All you got to do is, once you're in this group, I can't accept people right now because I do it before. all you gotta do is like, do you see right here on featured? It's right here, like the weekly collab call. Posted this an hour ago. You click here. The live, you can I don't want everyone to see the link here, but like the live's here, we're talking live, and boom, join here is right there. So guys, all you gotta do is come up here to Wholesaling Houses for Real. All right. No gurus, no selling, just value. That's how you hop on and get free one-on-one calls with us. We get asked all the time. Hopefully that cuts it off from there. To get those calls, you have to be in that mastermind. I'm sorry, but I have to provide these one-on-one coaching calls to the people that want to actually help themselves and help others. We got to reward you guys for being the mastermind, and that's part of the mastermind. You want a mastermind with us? Got to be in our mastermind, right?
There you go.
How much does it cost to be in the mastermind?
Oh, it's free.
It's free.
It's free.
That's it. So let's break it down. So let's answer some questions, and we'll get some. We got Christian and Dan on here, so we'll go talk to them too. This is one. I don't get your blood boiling. This is a cute comment, but first of all, we got 1 Hour. 1 Hour is always on here. 1 Hour is in Minnesota.
I wonder what the temperature there is now.
It's cold. Can't go forward in reverse. I agree. I'll check it out for you.
Well, why is it? I like live weather reports. I don't
It's
trust.
42 in Minnesota.
Oh,
I know it
pretty
gets down to
warm.
14 on Sunday. 8 degrees on Monday. Okay. I'm good.
Ouch.
So Craig says,
I don't think you could wholesale in that weather. I'm sorry.
Craig says here, my mentor made 1.5 million last year. He's super old school and doesn't do cold calls. I imagine he would make more if he did cold calls. Craig, we can be honest with you. Most people that say they do 1.5 million don't do 1.5 million.
Well, it's
that's the truth.
it's what you make in the end.
It's really what you make.
But that's fine. Like if it's working for him, he's getting direction.
If it's certain people, I'll be like, sure, yeah, I know.
What is that beeping?
There's people joining.
Oh, okay.
All these people are joining. They want to get value, and they're providing value.
Okay.
Annie, what's up, Annie? This really is the best program out there. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Annie.
Dottie says, how do you cold call cash buyers? Really, the way you cold call cash buyers is you go to like listrei.com, listrei.com, and you basically cold call cash sales and say, hey, I saw you bought 123 Main Street here. Would you be looking to buy any more properties at a deep discount? And then they say yes. You get the proof of funds. Make sure they understand the wholesaling process, and you go from there. Glockster says, how do you Glockstar, how do you dominate in virtual wholesaling if everyone is pulling the same list? This is probably the easiest one for me to do is you go to the list that no one else is doing. This is going to be virtual drawing for dollars since you're virtual, really probates, pre-probates, tired landlord lists, kind of list, because everyone's really doing the high equity. You got to do the list that no one else is doing. Water shut off lists. A lot of, I would say the fire damage properties, if you can get them, it's better to be local for fire damage properties.
Yeah,
but
Glockster,
like
when you use the word everyone, it's a real general term. Dude, everybody pulls my list here in South Florida, and I do just fine. So I just look at when I get that motivated seller, we get the deal done. Like we go above and beyond everybody else, and that's how we get deals done. So you're never going to get a list where nobody else pulls. You can get close, but the reality is you're going to have a lot of competition. You just have to rise to the top to get it done.
That's it.
But everyone, I don't think everyone's pulling the list. That's a bit of a stretch. So when you hear words, everyone, they, I heard, she said, he said, dude, like I need names.
I agree. Also, it's kind of like that whole David Goggins thing. It's like, hey, he did it's like someone doing a race or someone, you see 1,000 people doing the New York City Marathon. You think those top 5 people from like Kenya, they always finish top 5. Do you think they care how saturated the field is?
I'm telling you, man.
They just run. When I find out on some of my appointments back in the day, there's only 4 people I had to compete with. I'm like, 4?
Yeah, guys. So a lot of people send out marketing stuff and they're horrified to answer the phone, call people back. So that's where you rise above. You just go above and beyond when you get them on the phone and do whatever it takes to kind of get the deal done. You're always going to have competition, especially in like major metro markets. But you're going to find most people in the market, dude, when you got guys answering, like have VAs answering calls and stuff like that, it's so easy. It's like so easy to beat them. But you just got to rise above them. And when you get that lead, you've got to do whatever you do in your company to take it down.
True. What's up, RK? Zach Ginn getting bad financial advice from his parents. I think he met with his parents, but
yeah,
it was a joke. He was a joke,
my parents.
you know.
Obviously, he's gotten good advice.
But
It's okay.
let's go talk. So let's see. Is Christian on here? Let me see. Christian?
What's that little thing in there?
Looks like a webcam.
There we go.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Nice. Hey,
What is
you guys-
up?
How's it going?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Where are you, Christian?
I'm out of San Clemente, California,
Oh, wow.
West Coast.
All right.
Cool.
Sweet.
So I'm kind of back and forth between here and Arizona, Scottsdale market.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys are based over in Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're kind
Yep.
of by Palm Beach.
Yeah. A little north of Palm Beach.
Okay.
Lots of
Right on.
competition here.
But
Yeah,
man,
it's
what is
kind of
up?
seems kind of similar to the Arizona market. There's a lot of competition there. I
Oh.
just joined Pace Morby's mentorship and
Cool, man.
listened to the Wholesale hotline, and that's where I got connected with what you guys are doing, and kind of dove into that. And both of those podcasts were pretty good. I listened to them this morning, actually. So I am fairly new to wholesaling and looking to dive in and learn more about kind of real estate investing and using this as a strategy.
Okay.
Okay. Christian, I'll just tell you off the bat, Pace is great. Like, we love him. His stuff's good.
Yeah.
Just tell you, the way that he approaches things are probably gonna be different than the way we approach things. We both have great ways to do it. I mean, we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars with JVs with him. So like, obviously he knows what he's doing, but like, here's the thing. You have to figure out what you want to do. Like, we're not going to be the person that's going to tell you should go out there and market for sub twos. We're kind of in the thing like wholesale, and then whatever drops on sub two, you take those. We just approach things a little differently, but we'll get the stuff done. So what's your approach you're looking for your whole business? Because I just want to make sure like what your structure is and how we can help you.
Yeah, definitely. So my approach right now is we purchased one Airbnb in the Scottsdale market, and we're looking to be able to grow not only that business and acquire more of them, but also look at other investing strategies. So that's where wholesaling comes in. It's a completely new strategy to me. I haven't been in the space long enough to really know that much about it, but I'm potentially even on the buy side for connecting with wholesalers and the exit for the wholesale. So I've got a couple of cash buyers / partners that I'm looking to work with. And I'm also looking to connect with wholesalers who have leads in my markets. So I'm looking at it from both perspectives. I'm pretty open right now, so I haven't quite fine-tuned what my strategy is, if that makes sense.
I get it. So you said you're in San Clemente?
Correct.
Okay. What's the ARV around there here? Because I know that's kind of what. I mean, that's way off Palm Springs, right?
Yeah, it's way off of Palm Springs. Like one of our neighbors just sold their house, like 1,200 square feet, renovated for 1.4, 1.5.
Okay.
So it's pretty high ARVs in San Clemente. It's a little beach town.
Okay. So you're probably not going to do much real estate there. Airbnbs are okay there. I'm not a big fan of rent control, stuff like that. So I don't advise California too much. I mean, Fresno is really the only place in the valley that you can rent, do decent on. I mean, why do you choose Scottsdale?
So Scottsdale, we took a trip there about a year ago and just fell in love with it. There's really good golf, great weather. A lot of snowbirds come down from up north. So it really turns on from, call it, November through May. So people coming down from Canada, people coming down from the Midwest. Played golf with somebody from Washington. And it's really an alive town. It was thriving quite a bit more than what we were seeing in California. A lot of the COVID protocols that were occurring in California weren't in the Scottsdale / Arizona market. So we just saw a lot more opportunity there kind of through pandemic. And that's what got us initially engaged with that market. Then we started doing research and realized that for us, and when I say us, my wife and I, when we look at the cost or the value of the homes in relation to what we could get for rentals, which would be in short-term rentals, Airbnb, there was a huge opportunity in that we could purchase something and then be able to cash flow on it really quickly as well as have the alternative to rent it out and do long-term rentals. So that's what initially got us there. And then there's also a lot of activity with real estate investors to be able to collaborate and just network.
Okay.
So here's what I tell you. So you're relatively new and starting out. Like, I try to keep the information simple. So I've taken a lot of directions from a lot of people over 19 years. Just make sure everybody does things a little bit different. And it can be addicting taking a lot of advice from people, especially with technology today over the internet. So number one, just make sure whoever you're getting advice from, like, they walk the talk. Like everybody's just like, so you're in the right place with the people you mentioned. But then you've got to define you and your wife's like why, because nobody can tell you your why. And I find too many gurus try to tell people this is why you need to do it. If you're just in it to make money, I've already told people to just go do something else because you won't last. So you have to clearly define like what you want to accomplish, because I like Pace and I'm friends with him, but we have two extreme different drastic styles. I'm always in it about producing cash and taking care of things.
Your sub 2 is different than his.
So wholesaling, I look at wholesaling as it's what generates the cash in the business. It's what pays for the long-term assets. If I want to do an Airbnb, if I want to do an income producing rental, if I want to do a commercial. Where I differ from the sub 2, I believe every sub 2 taken on should be from a positive cash flow, a true sub 2.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So, like, where are we trying to get on you here? Because I feel like I just don't want you splitting your time, like doing wholesaling and doing this, because I'll be honest with us, we're all wholesale, and then we'll do creative finance for the cash flow net worth adding part. But a majority of our time and what we recommend people starting out should just be in wholesaling exclusively. That's the difference between us. So I'm just trying to understand, because Scottsdale, I'll just be honest with you, bro. Creative finance works. It's probably the most saturated market for creative finance. And unfortunately, it's the most saturated market in Maricopa County for wholesaling. So that's the big issue you're going to have. Now, are you living in Scottsdale?
No, we're back and forth. So,
okay. Do you own any real estate in Scottsdale?
Yeah, we own the Airbnb in Scottsdale.
Okay. I would strongly consider looking at other markets. Not too like Tucson. Like, that's something you can make work. There's a lot less people and still a big market. I just don't want you going out there trying to wholesale in Scottsdale and just being upset when you are already virtually wholesaling. Like, that's what you're going to be doing, virtual. I would advise it'd be easier if you just go into a market, let's say like Chattanooga, Tennessee, where it's so much easier to hold.
Any
like
part of Texas. But listen, you've got to decide what the best market for you is. Wholesaling is just a vehicle to find like greatly discounted properties. And I'm telling you, I don't focus on sub 2. Sub 2 comes out of my wholesaling. So when one comes, I'm like, well, she just offered to give me the mortgage. Like, what do I do? That's how I figured out how to do sub 2. I passed them all up. In this current environment right now, Christian, it's tough on sub 2 when everything's selling, and when everybody's cashing everybody out, it's more of a challenge. I'm a patient person. I will tell you, from 2008 to 2012, I had more sub 2s than I've ever seen in my entire 19 years career. So I've learned I don't force them. Like right now, the only type of sub 2s we pretty much do now are pretty much people in probate. Grandma died. She had a $50,000 mortgage. She wants $5,000 to cash her out. We'll take over the mortgage. I love that stuff all day long. It's really easy. I never get a fight on probate, but I don't sit there and pitch subject to, because 9 out of 10 people just say absolutely no way.
But here's the thing. What you're learning about subject to is great. I'm trying to talk to you and trying to figure out what would be the best thing for you. So, honestly, I would just focus on wholesaling, and then whatever leads that aren't working due to sub 2. That's our opinion. I have found personally people virtually wholesaling in Phoenix, Maricopa County don't get the same results that they do other markets that are better. That's kind of what we're saying. So I just be careful before you go full on the marketing, because People think our market's saturated, but like it's nowhere near that.
It is,
you
but
know?
like we're confident in it, and like we know the numbers, and I know if I spend X amount of dollars, what I'm going to get. When I started it, it's a freaking nightmare. Like it was like for me to spend $500 on like letters, I used to freak out about it. Now I'll spend tenfold on that. So it's what I'm saying is I always like wholesaling because it produces cash. And when I started this, I had a wife and 2 small kids, and she's like, "This thing better make some money." And she looked at me, and so I kept my job, and I had a 1-year plan. I got it done in 6 months. Um, if you start from the wholesaling, remember when subject 2 comes up, those are all great skill sets to have, but in my opinion, they're like secondary. When it comes up, then you know how to have the conversation. But a lot of people in sub 2 right now, they're trying to force these novation agreements, all this stuff, and it's like they're not producing money right now, and that's my challenge. If you have to give somebody 20 grand and you only get 5 or 10 grand when somebody moves us in, I don't do deals like that. Because to me, there's risk on them, and I've got plenty of money to buy them. So I like wholesaling because it produces cash. You've got to find a market that you're 100% confident in. Me and Zach can't really tell you which one, but since you're in the beginning, you have time to do some research. We teach some hacks on how you can research other people's market and use their money trail, and it doesn't cost you a dime.
But all we're saying is you're not going to learn wholesaling in like 5 months. It's a grind. You came in the right place. But I just want to hear what your thoughts are. So, like, have you started the process of marketing?
No, not yet. I'm very much brand new into this. It's been within like the last week that I've really taken kind of a new direction with it. So I've been investing in real estate, call it for the last 6 months with acquiring this first property in Scottsdale that we converted into an Airbnb. But then, so back over to the why is I have a W-2 job right now. My wife is full-time on the Airbnb, and we're looking at more time freedom. And eventually I want to be able to get out of this W-2. And I'm just looking at, I work for a manufacturing company. I do engineering project management. So I'm very much a systems guy, numbers guy, work with a bunch of different roles, functional areas, and bring them together towards like common operational goals. So go ahead.
How's your wife feel about your real estate venture so far?
She's all about it. She loves it.
Okay.
She actually just left her job as a teacher. She's a teacher in California up until about June of last year.
Yeah.
And
my wife used to be a teacher.
Okay.
Don't want her to hear me.
She loved it, and she really had a passion for teaching. It just got kind of crazy being a teacher.
It didn't. What they put teachers through now is
that's one good wholesaling deal a year. That's what
I told my wife. I go, we'll do one deal, and she still loves to teach, but like
we're teachers too.
We are teachers.
Yeah. So like,
we do it through the right thing.
We get paid a little more, but actually we get paid less than a regular teacher. But we will go right into that.
So I will tell you this, Christian. You have to know wholesaling. It is like it's like learning your ABCs. Everybody has to learn wholesaling because you have to have it as the first strategy to locate your most discounted deals. What you can do is with sub 2 and everything, you can add these skill sets and build above it. But there's no way to do this business not completely mastering wholesaling because it minimizes your risk, it produces cash, and then you can turn it into a business, and then you can take that cash and buy whatever assets you want to do with it. And it's what people get frustrated with wholesaling is it is a job. Like if you stop working, the money stops. So you're already used to that with a W-2 anyway. So, but the really cool thing with wholesaling, once you figure it out after, just a year or two, it can be automated. You can actually stop doing it and do other things. Just don't do coaching. Okay. Promise me.
No promises,
but like wholesaling is the fundamental of real estate investing. And if you understand it, because once you master the marketing and you prove the cash flow, I remember the first time when I did a deal with no money and I showed my wife a $10,000 check. I thought she was going to fall on the floor because, she supported me. She just didn't know if I was going to make it. And then we did it, and I did it over again, and it worked. So,
oh yeah. So I mean, that's it. So ask us what questions you got. But we're just here to help.
Yeah, I mean, the first question, or I guess piece of advice that I could use is my wife has been pretty hesitant with the whole wholesale thing, like cold calling and talking to people that we don't know, and really doing that brute force, trying to get leads and the sweat that goes into it. And she's looking more at like our Airbnb, that we could go through traditional financing, buy a house, Airbnb it, and it's very straightforward and in our control, versus going out with the wholesale method. There's a lot more, I don't know, what's the right way of putting it? The cold calling and the work that goes into it is different, and she's hesitant. So I guess what would your advice be in getting into something like this that she's not fully on board with quite yet? Or how do I pitch it?
That's easy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have the money to market if you're spending money on coaching. So I would say probably do some SMS text blasting, if that's what you want for wholesaling. If she's not into cold calling, you can always get a VA. You have a W-2, it's gonna be harder for you to do. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I hate cold calling with a passion.
I know.
He likes doing it. I never cold called one day in my business. So I always tell everyone, the last thing you want to do is make your wife do something she don't want to do. So how long have you been married, Christian?
Coming up on 5 years.
Okay. So let's get you another 5 years. You do not want to go down that road path. Okay. I could do a whole show on like doing this business with your wife, because I've hired and fired her so many times. It's like pointless. But you can't fire your wife. That's joke number one. Number two is, when you pick a marketing medium, do something that you feel you will be successful in. If you hate cold calling, like me, don't do it. And the worst thing you do is go out and hire someone to cold call because you don't know how to manage them. So here's the beauty of it. You can pick marketing mediums where you get inbound leads. And this isn't for everybody on the call, okay? A lot of the people we work with, they're young, they don't have a lot of money, and they've got to do creative stuff. If you don't have a lot of money and stuff, like, your options are limited. You, on the other hand, you could do an SMS text blasting, which basically you skip trace the numbers, you send it out, and they respond on a text. It's all done on your computer, and you just deal with the ones you want to deal with. You get a lot of people F off, get rid of you. But yeah, I'm interested. That person comes off of it. Maybe she helps you sort the leads, and you can make the phone call. Your third option is, a lot of people overlook this, is direct mail is not the worst thing in the world, okay? It costs a little bit of money, but once you get the list out, and by the way, mailingmastery.com, I put all 19 years on how to do it, and you can go on these masterminds to show you how to do it, is you get a list, you send it out, you get a 1.5% response rate, and then you just talk to the people you want to talk to. So there's a huge difference between inbound and outbound. So I was kind of like you. I'm like, I don't need to do all this other stuff. This sounds a little sketchy. And so if you can find something that does inbound leads, I would just avoid PPC in the beginning, because it's a huge learning curve and it's expensive. So direct mail's options for you, SMS text blasting, that would open the doors for wholesaling. You got to understand, your strategy is not wrong with Airbnb, but a lot of times you got to look to 3 to 5 years to truly get the fruits of your labor for that. The difference with wholesaling is 3 to 5 months. I can show you the fruits of the labor of it. And you have to balance it at some point. And that's why wholesaling is so attractive. It is work, but I'm telling you, when you get it up and going, it's unbelievable. And I don't know if you're going to make $10,000 from a lead, or we've made recent ones $100,000. And I'm talking all off of a couple $1,000 mailer. Yeah. So I started with direct mail because that's all I knew at the time. But here I am, 19 years. I never stop it, and I like it a lot. But mailingmastery.com, dig through that, see if something hits there for you. But talk to your wife about inbound versus outbound, because it's a whole different world.
Okay.
The key with SMS is you have to have somebody sort through the leads when they come in. When I first started, my wife would answer the phone for me, because, by the way, women do a lot better on incoming leads. People like them better. They're nicer to them, and they get more information from people. Us guys, we're a little bit rougher, and it's just the truth. She would sort out and get the leads, and goes, you got to call these 15 people back. So she would take like 50, 60 calls, and most of the conversations are 2 to 3 minutes. So it's kind of easy. So talk to her about inbound versus outbound, and I think you'll get a warmer reception, and you can kind of figure out how to make that work for you. If you don't like cold calling and she doesn't want to do it, go to the next option if you can afford to do it. Yeah, that's my advice on you. I'm just that's the beauty of wholesaling. You can cater it to how you want to do it. Back in the day, I would do direct mail. I was a one-man operation. My wife would help me out when she wasn't teaching, and she would help out in the summers. And then when she wasn't there, I'd try to answer the phone live, and then stuff would go to voicemail. I used to have so many leads, I'd wait 7 to 10 days to even call people back. Whole different world now. That doesn't work anymore. You got like 7 seconds to call people back. So look at inbound versus outbound. I'm just telling you, who cares even if you spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a lead and you make 30 grand, it'll work. But the Airbnb, I do all that stuff, but like those are my long-term plays. So I like to do wholesaling because it generates cash today. And my favorite part about it, it finds the most deeply discounted deals of them all. And that's how we pick up a lot of our subject tiers. You got anything on it?
That's it.
Yeah. But you're in the beginning, you're forming it. So sit down and have some real conversations with your wife. Like, I want you to understand the wholesaling generates a majority of the cash for our business.
Mm-hmm.
It buys all our Airbnbs and everything. So if you skip wholesaling, you're going to have to use your own wealth to build it. And I want you to be able to get more wealth so you can acquire more assets for what you want to do. Yep. So
yeah, makes sense. It's an accelerator. And I think right now
sit down and talk to her. You're on the right plan. So
yeah, I think it's an education thing and an understanding thing for both of us.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the apprehension comes from is just the education of it. It's this thing that's kind of daunting when you look at it from the outside in, but once you get into it, it becomes more manageable. You break it up into pieces and into actionable steps forward.
And Christian, it is education, but it is a lot of action when it comes down to it. So many people are guilty of getting too much education and taking like very little action. You'll never get it perfect. You're going to screw some stuff up, but when you screw stuff up, you learn. And once you learn, like you start to make money. So
that's it.
You got it. How's the weather there?
It's so nice. It's like 70s. Sunny.
Yeah, 70s here. We're kind of like California, but it's just add the hurricanes and
humidity. But
I'd say something else, but I won't.
Yeah, no. So basically that's it. So what other questions you got? I know that's kind of you sort of have to do your research on all the marketing. You're not going to understand it all in a week. So I think you should take your time and kind of just research each one and see which one you're thinking. That'd be my thought.
Yeah.
I
you got it. Just
rush to go do something.
Yeah, just involve your wife. I'm just telling you, do not cut out wholesaling because you're going to cut out like 80% of your income by doing that. And that's most people don't have the wherewithal to wait 3 to 5 years for like their Airbnb to pay off. So I'm not like the biggest Airbnb guy. I still do them, but it's just it's got to be the right property because they are a lot of work. It's like a high-end rental. So if you've chosen that method, and by the way, your plan will change as you go along. I promise you, it will change. I started out in this business. I was going to buy 10 rental properties, pay them off as fast as I couldn't be done. Well, I got hit with 3 major hurricanes. Price tax, they stopped. The property tax went crazy, and then the insurance went nuts, and that's how I wound up in wholesaling. So, so be flexible in what you want to do, and just make sure you know what your why is, and make sure your wife is definitely on that plan with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're very intentional about that. So
okay.
We're on the journey together and going through this together.
Yeah, so. You'll find that like teachers, like you've got to explain it to them to like they're used to the education part. I deal with this with my wife all the time. I tell her like it's a little bit different on the real estate investing side, but get her involved with it. I hammered my wife with the phones in the beginning. It was too much for her. So just kind of make sure you're there to help and stuff like that, and give her time off.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
All right.
I think you're on a good plan here. So let us know. Let us know how you're doing. Keep a report back. You know where we are. So
yeah, exactly. All right. Appreciate it.
Awesome, Christian. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Thanks.
Click.
Perfect. So
okay.
That was pretty good. So yeah, that's interesting. You know, one thing I always say is the only mentorship we do recommend, great people there, but we only recommend freewholesaling.com. We teach subject to, we teach everything. Just quick FYI if anyone needed to know that, but that's kind of what.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know why we're all about wholesaling? Is I think everything in real estate investing always starts with wholesaling. And guys, it doesn't mean you can't do other things. Short sale flips, Airbnbs, rentals, commercial. Shoot, there's so many techniques. I ain't got enough time in my lifetime to learn them all, but I try. So, we ready?
Oh yeah, here we go. We got Dylan. Dylan, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Is he at the gym?
He's at the gym. No excuse.
It was the only time that I was able to come
That's
today,
all right.
but I didn't want to miss your live.
I'm trying to figure out which gym he's at.
He's probably at 24-hour fitness.
No, it's LA Fitness in St. Pete.
All right, cool,
Good
man.
Lord, that's a big one.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop outside so that I don't have any audio problems, but I appreciate you taking my call. I hate that I was only able to come today because I was worried I wasn't gonna make you guys live.
No worries, man. What's up?
How you been? How was Thanksgiving? How's everything? Everything good?
I was blessed. All right, Thanksgiving was great. One thing I could say is I know I talked to you over the live yesterday. What happened to that probate thing? You know, he had remember that deal we were talking about with him? We kind of looked it all over. It was in Pinellas County. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what happens. I think he's walking around. So he might come back on. He's probably on the LA Fitness Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
all right.
I just hopped off the Wi-Fi, so I got you.
What happened to that deal, man?
So unfortunately, yeah, I know I typed into the comments there. The time kills all deals, and that was a very crystallizing lesson for me. If I would have been ready to go, I was there in the living room with the mom, the dad, the owner, everyone involved, sitting in the living room. Conversation went great, laughing. You know, we finally get to the price, and I was much lower than what their bottom line was, and it turned out that what they would have accepted would have been okay. My numbers were off when I was calculating my ARV. It was the way that I had the formula, the percent of ARV that I was using, it turns out was much too conservative for this market. And that's one of the things that I've been struggling with the most in my comping. I can comp, I can find the ARV. It's just finding out what is that percent of ARV that you multiply by for this market and my area and everything. I'm super concerned that I'm gonna do that incorrectly and lock up a deal way too high and put people in a bad position and have to cancel at the last minute. So I'm going very, very conservative on my my numbers, and it put me into a bad position. So I left. I didn't get the contract. Days and days of negotiation, I ended up increasing my MAO, and we had an agreed upon deal verbally, you know, after many days of negotiation back and forth. And the day that we were set to sign, after many days of negotiation, they had a ton of problems with my contract. I had apparently like an extensive contract that they were very they just weren't comfortable with. And so I had to go and amend many things in the contract so they felt comfortable. And then the day of closing, or the day of signing, the guy said that he decided he doesn't want to sell now. He wants to stay in the house. That's what he told me.
Yeah, well, here's the good news. When that comes up, if you did everything perfect, he probably still would have changed his mind.
Yeah.
So look at it as a learning curve. I tell everybody speed kills in this business. When you're ready to go, when they're there to make a decision, if you can't get that final decision right there, it tends to waffle on you. What type of contract did you give them?
So it was a purchase and sale agreement. It was a contract that I have downloaded from YouTube from another wholesale coach that you're familiar with, but yeah.
So here's one thing I'll tell you. Like, we have how big's our folder of contracts? So you're in Florida.
Yeah.
There's only two types of contracts you ever want to pull out with people. You pull out the full FAR bar. Yeah. What is it? You get the simple ones, 13 pages. The advanced ones, 21 pages.
You do a realtor contract.
Okay.
Too.
But I do those with probates typically because I assume it's going to go by an attorney. When somebody says they don't when you can tell they don't want to sign a lot of papers and they want simplicity, get a 2-page contract.
Or a 1-pager.
Or a 1-pager. And I always bring them both with me.
Or you print the 2-pager one side on the other side so they think it's 1 page.
So a lot of times you can go like you get to the contract, they go, listen, I hope you don't have Dylan, I hope you don't have like a 15-page contract and it's super complicated. I get an attorney. You go, oh, I would never do that to you.
It was 7 pages. It wasn't complicated, but there was a lot of information there that heavily favored the buyer, the wholesaler, and so there was many clauses, all of it to favor the wholesaler, but it was making the seller a little uncomfortable. I actually downloaded your contract from freewholesaling.com today. I think it was 2 pages because I had another seller that I was getting ready to do. So I went and downloaded your contract.
So the trick to let everybody, guys, some people want really complicated contracts. Like they think that you're serious about it. And some people want really simple contracts. So if you go with 2 contracts in your bag on every appointment, like you look like the hero. Like I ask them beforehand, do you like simple contract? Like, do you like the complicated one? And I let them tell me what they want and I pull it out. And every time I will tell you on probates, I'll have them sign the simple one and then I'll ask them to sign the complicated one, because when I have to give it to an attorney, I've never met an attorney that I've given a contract, they haven't found a problem with it. It doesn't matter how perfect it is. Their job's to find a problem. Oh, listen, line 16B, you didn't put a comma. It's like, okay. Attorney.
So how do you navigate that? I'm sorry. How do you navigate that when you go back to the seller and you say, hey, that contract that I had you sign, it's actually not the appropriate contracts. Can you sign this much more extensive contract? How do you navigate that?
Listen, both contracts accomplish the same thing. What you want to avoid is giving a 2-page contract to a lawyer. They will eat you alive. Am I right? They just don't like them. They think you're full. They think everything has to be a ton of pages and they're complicated. So if it's a probate, I just lean towards the more complicated contracts. So I don't have to go back and get the signature. If they sign a 2-page contract and they go, listen, can I have my attorney review this? Between you and me, once they sign it, I don't care. Like it's a done deal. If they say, hey, listen, Dylan, I like everything you're doing. You decide to leave the contract with them, which I try to avoid at all costs. Make sure you give them a more complicated contract, because the attorney's going to write you off on a 2-pager. Attorneys think, ask any attorney, show them a 2-page contract, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would have someone sign like this. It's contracts they're not really one-sided. Most of that crap written in between, it's like ridiculous, some of the stuff that's put on there. Like, what if radon gas comes up? What if you don't do this? Contracts to me are simple. You put in the terms and you do agree to it. Some people like simple contracts. If you keep hearing the word attorney and they have to review it with the attorney, you go towards the bigger contract every time. Because here's what they do. They hand it to the attorney. The attorney says 2 pages. They go, this Dylan guy is full of crap. Don't do business with him. You give him a 15-page contract. He's like, oh, wow. Like they're actually doing everything by the book. This is what I need to do. When I get people that go, just give me a signature. I don't want to deal with an attorney. I want it simple. 1 2-page contract every time and they're done. By the way, once they sign it and they give it an attorney, I don't give a crap what the attorney says. I really
after it's signed,
after it's signed, I don't need his permission. What happens usually is they go, well, listen, I like everything you're saying, Dylan. I want to take this 2-page contract and give it to my attorney. That's when you're going to have to make a decision, because I've never had it go well giving a attorney a 1 or 2-page contract. They're going to tell them, I wouldn't deal with this. They look like they're up to something fishy. I would find someone a little bit more serious than Dylan. That's my only advice on that one. What do you got?
I mean, we've done 1-pager. So obviously it depends on what you do. We like to keep it on the 2-pager for most. I walked in once in a deal with the guy. I was like a 90-year-old seller. And I'm like, hey, you got like a son or grandson I can talk to? Like I'm not comfortable signing with like a 90-year-old, obviously. They've owned the house since like 1953, World War II vets. I walked in, the son is like this hotshot attorney from Vero. I'm like, man, well, this is why I have my far bar in the car, you know? That's why, like, you got to understand, you know? So you just got to, if you're getting questions from your seller about like the title and like they're very, very like exact about it.
Yeah.
You got to know.
Some people are extremely detail oriented. Maybe the guy has like a tech job.
But
or
if
like,
someone's selling just because they want to get rid of it so it's easy and convenient for them, then yes.
I go to the easiest one as possible.
They were just uncomfortable with more stuff It was more, I'm assuming, more opportunity for them to have a disadvantage, more stuff that they potentially didn't understand. And so they just kind of shied away from it. And at the
Yeah.
time, I didn't have another contract. It
Huh.
was the next day or the day after that I was like scrambling, contacting other people, trying to find another contract, a simpler contract. And, you know, still had to like modify stuff within that so that they felt comfortable and I felt like I was protected. And so it dragged on for like another 3 or 4 days. And by that
Yeah.
time, you know, everything was all agreed to, the price, everything, the timeline. And he said, okay, we're going to sign later today. And then later today came and, hey, you're not going to believe this, but we're not going to sign anymore. We're not going to sell. So it was a really, really valuable lesson. I love the advice that you guys are saying to bring multiple contracts, because I didn't do that previously.
Yeah,
And
'cause I've had people go, man, I hope you don't pull out like a 15-page contract. I used to look with my mouth open.
Yeah.
I wrote one on a cocktail napkin just to avoid pulling out the 15-page.
Also, Dylan, you see our 2-pager. I think it'd be interesting. You kind of do spend 15 minutes. I think you can try to, you know, make the font a little smaller, cut some things out of that contract, and kind of go over with your title company, and you could make a 1-pager work. You know, you're going to make it a skinny contract. The bare minimum I would say for 1 page you're going to make your own is make sure you can assign it, make sure there's a purchase price. Don't get too advanced in there, but you can make it a 1-page. I would make I would call it a skinny contract. Just have a couple just in case. That's right.
Yeah, the only downside on the small contracts, so you know, is when they give it to their friends, the relatives, the realtor, and the lawyer. They kill those contracts every time. So if you have to leave a contract, don't ever leave a 1 or 2-page contract. I guarantee you they will never speak to you again. So if I have to leave a contract, here's what I'll do. I'll leave the 15-page and I'll leave it blank. I'm not filling it out. I'm not giving you a cheat sheet. Like occasionally you have to do it, but I'm just telling you. And I always have blank contracts, maybe other than the address. And when I'm sitting down with them, I just fill it out with them. It makes them feel a little bit, you're not as slick. You're not making it complicated. And you go, okay, when do you want to close by? And we kind of walk through that.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk to him about the MAO on it, his struggle with that?
Dylan, my personal opinion, I love your, like, the way you're looking. It's great. It's amazing. My thought's a little different. I'd rather lock up too high and get out of it than the other side, which is not getting the deal. You know, unfortunately, that's the way I look at it.
So
is that good? Is it bad? I'd rather lock it up too high and then renegotiate from there than just not getting locked up at all. That, because I'm a little more crazy about just getting deals.
But I understand his point on it. Like,
yes.
so I completely.
Well, and I've heard horror stories, and so I'm a little just like hesitant because I've heard where, hey, the seller had everything ready to move, and this terrible, you know, crappy wholesaler backed out at the last minute and left this person high and dry, and they're putting a terrible name to the industry, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to.
No, we're not
have a chance of like going down that route.
So what you have to do is people overthink this MAO, what's it, Maximal Allowance Offer.
Maximal Allowable Offer.
You look at the property. Eyes on the property are really your best tool, because then you can decide if it's worse or better than you thought. You have a general idea. You run the numbers. Hopefully you run it through PropStream. And then if you have a buyer's list, you can kind of put them both together and go, okay, it should sell for this. This is what I need to get it for. And here's how you work with somebody wants more money than what you want to pay for it. You've just got to build some contingencies in there to give you a little bit more comfort with the flexibility. Now, if somebody rolls over, if I want to buy a house at $150 and they go, Rick, just take it for $100, I'm not worried about it. Like, that's a no-brainer. On the other side, if they're like, I don't want to pay more than like $135 and they're stuck at like $145, I'm like, I think I can sell it for $150. If I get it in the 130s, it really works for my business. I'll put it under contract, but I will leave myself a opening. I tell you what,
Gotcha.
I think the air conditioning's bad, and I'm concerned with the roof. So I tell you what, I'll put it under contract for this price, but I'm going to come back with my inspection team. You just got to give me like a 7 to 10 day window, and that way you have comfortability. You have room to go back. If it doesn't work and you can't get a buyer for it, you can get out within the inspection period. But when people ask more from me than I think the house is worth, and I've put all that time and energy, I do agree with them. I want to put it under contract, but I want to set the foundation for a conversation. Go, listen, if that AC is not what you say it is, if that roof's not what you say it is, then we need to talk about the price. Worst case scenario, after 7 or 10 days, you just get out. What I find is I don't like the dog and pony show where you trick people. But say the AC is bad and the roof's bad, you have to get a discount. Otherwise, you're not gonna make any money on the deal. Your obligation, in my opinion, is to tell them that within that 7 to 10 days, as soon as possible. A scumbag waits till 30 days.
And also, just letting you know, I'll be honest with you, we have properties right now that we're selling on the MLS. Realtors, the most high ethical, they get out of these contracts. So, like, we got one. The person signed the contract, they got out of it 5 minutes later.
5 minutes after they signed it, they freaked out.
I'm just telling you, this is standard in real estate. They're gonna Dylan, they're gonna deal with the same. I'm gonna call it BS. Be nice in listing the property. So I wouldn't feel extremely bad. Now you do it outside of that. Yes. You list the house on like Zillow. Yes. You tell people you're listing the property for sale, which is not true. You're listing the contract for sale. I wouldn't feel too bad if it's just in that period and the property was as trashed as you told me it was.
Yeah.
And you're in Pinellas County. I mean, you're in Pinellas. Like, you ain't in Polk County, okay? Yeah. Like, these deals are easy to sell, man, okay? Okay, like Tarpon Springs, like that area, like they're easy to sell, right? There will be a buyer, and you can provide a solution for the seller. A lot of these bad wholesalers, they're in like, Yulee, Florida, population 400, right? So,
especially with you being local, you can put your hands on it and kind of touch it. So, I get your fear a little bit, but you can't let that fear shut you down from like locking up contracts. You are going to take some sort of a calculated risk. If someone's pushing you more than you're comfortable with, just have your option in there. Go, listen, I think it needs a new AC. That's about $7,000. But I tell you what, I'll put it under contract for that additional 7, but I'm going to send my AC guy out to check it out. And if it's not there, then we need to call. Now, I don't know about you, but I can look at air conditioning. Like, you just look at the date. It's 15 years old. I know it needs to be replaced. Yeah. Like, it's not even an option. And I don't care about if my sellers get a new AC. I just need to put room in it so I can make a profit on it. Your worst case scenario, listen, I've done deals where, ready for this? I've broken even. It sucks,
not fun.
But either way, you're going to help that seller out. So the ones I'm careful about, a little old lady living in her house by herself. It's her only source of income, and she wants too much, or the grandson wants too much. I'm not even going to put it under contract. But when they're messed up houses, they're vacant, dude, someone's buying it. And by the way, you need to keep them in your follow-up and just kind of reach out to them. Because
for sure.
They're going to change their mind. They're going to change their mind like the wind.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, I told you this guy, his entire house is just loaded wall to wall with Marvel memorabilia. You legit can't even see the walls. It's just
I've seen that.
Loaded down.
So listen, on your maxable, on your MAO, your maxable allowance is here's the theory. Once you look at it and it verifies to what you think it is, trash, clean, or whatever you think your buyers will pay it for, and you'll learn that over time, and then what you can get it under contract for.
I'll give him another.
This guy, he used to get contracts from me. I'm like, oh man, you're going to kill us at that price. I'm like, there's no way. And he finds someone to pay 20, 30 grand every time, when I thought he was overpaying on retail. So nothing shocks me anymore, but I'm just telling you what your buyers will pay for it and what you put in your contract. Yeah. That's your formula. There is no math problem I can give you that's going to guarantee the outcome of it.
You got so mad at me last year. We had this deal. It was a 2-1, 800 square feet, and you used to buy those houses for like 50, 60K. We locked up for 200. You were so mad at me. We sold it for 240. Okay. You were so mad. And you're like, 200. What is wrong with you? You're like, Zach, we're not buying this one. We're wholesaling. And I'm like, fine. And I was upset. I was like, I'm getting a killer cash buyer. And they bought it for 240. Like, that's because we're so out of touch of how crazy things are right now. But
most wholesalers, they don't even negotiate anymore. If somebody wants $160 for the house, they just give them a contract $160, and they try to get the buyer to pay more. Yeah. You have the skill set to negotiate with it, but understanding if they're pushing you, push back a little bit, play the game a little bit. Okay, I'll do the 150, but on the condition you got to give me 2 weeks to get my guy to come out here and really look deeply at this thing, because I'm concerned with this. And they know it. And guess what? When you come out and take a look at it, maybe you got to throw a buddy $100 to look at it for you. And he says, man, it's questionable. It's not good. Now you have a reason to go back on a discount, or you have a buyer and you can move forward with the contract. Either way, the ball's in your court.
Also, last tip I can give to you. This is what I do with this person. So I've seen this approach done a lot of ways. Now, this is an old school approach that I'm trying to bring back. You're talking to the seller, right? They're kind of like iffy on the price. They say they don't know. Say, hey, I'd be like, hey, Dylan, I'm kind of a busy guy. I have to actually get an answer kind of by tomorrow. This is what they used to. This is what I do instead. You know, I'm actually going to the grocery store. Wife's making me pick up groceries, you know, something like that. How about if you can make a decision and get this thing signed? I'm going to come back tomorrow with like a $200 gift card. I'll just give it to you. It's worth my time just not thinking about it, and we can do that. That gift card approach, like you give the offer and they're like hesitant, you'd be surprised. People take a $5,000 discount on the house just for that gift card.
Bribery.
Something like that. But here's the thing. A lot of people like that. You can also do something like, hey, like you like Marvel, you know, the new Spider-Man, it's going to be awesome. Green Goblin, William Dafoe's in there. It's sweet. Hey, you make a decision like, hey, let me get you tickets for you and your family to go see the new Spider-Man. Like, if you do it tomorrow, I'm actually buying tickets. I'll add some tickets on for you if you can sign it for tomorrow. Stuff like that. You'll be surprised. People will like, I'm going to see Spider-Man. Let's go, you know? Opening night, something like that. I'm just telling you that little tip, and you don't have to go buy it. But if they say yes, go buy the ticket and you get it. Or, you know, you got a Publix gift card. You can use it on yourself.
And you don't have to give it to them if they don't cooperate.
You'll be surprised. People will sign just for the $100 gift card.
So Dylan, this is the normal learning curve. I just don't want you to be so feared, like putting a property on. Listen, if it's vacant, it's a piece of crap, run down, push the limit, dude. Like when you got a family that's living in there and they're like, don't you bring one person in this house. Don't look at me. Don't do that. Then you got to do the honorable thing. It's when people ignore that crap. It's what gives us all a bad name. So
and that's what I don't want to bring any kind of bad name to the
like when they run these properties into the ground and like they can't, it's like, trust me, it's you just go for it.
The one main thing I wanted to make sure I ask you guys is on a big picture thing. I've been doing this full time. I mean, 10, 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week since August 1st. And I haven't gotten a deal. And basically, my big picture thing is I am really, really comfortable and excited and passionate on the sales side. It's the back-end systems, processes, integrating Podio, finding, you know, all the different list stacking, sorting, uploading them to the SMS campaign, managing the dialer, you know, that is just not my skill set. And I am struggling so much with that. And I'm so happy talking to people who, you know, are interested or motivated sellers. And I feel like I'm forcing my square peg into a round hole. Do you have any just advice on like how I can navigate this? And also, I feel so lonely. That's one of the reasons why I love talking to you guys, because you're one of the few people that I talk to out my week that's not someone trying to sell me something or the one or two, you know, motivated sellers I talk to. Other than that, man, it is a lonely, isolated life. And so I'm like really having an issue with those two metrics. Do you happen to have any suggestions or advice on where I should go?
I would tell you, I mean, list polling stuff's boring to me. I agree with you. The only suggestion is you have to do it.
Yeah. It's
kind of like working out, man. Working out, like just going out there without headphones kind of sucks. You put some cool music on, it makes it a lot more enjoyable and easier. Listen to some music, like make it a fun thing, you know, like that's what I would say, you know, put some fun music while you're pulling lists, you know, stacking. Cause I'd spend 4 or 5 hours on the Excel getting everything perfect. That bores me to death. I put some music in the background. It's just better, you know?
Yeah.
That's something I could really say.
Kind of do it like watching, you know, a sporting event or something like that. But here's the good news. Once you figure out how to do that and you figure out your process, it's really like easy to hire someone to do that for you virtually. It's not very expensive. It's
But
not
if you
going
get
to
the
break
wrong
the bank.
person, it's gonna
Well,
ruin it.
he's got to understand it, so he's got to go
That's
through
the
the fight.
problem, you know.
As far as like the lonely part, dude, I'm here to tell you and everybody on this call, you're doing what 98% of the world won't even bother to do. So, your the loneliness thing within it, because you deal with a lot of crazy people in this business, and like every now I'm like, you are nuts, but like I'll do it to get the deal. Is that part's not going to change other than the people you start networking. You'll find people that you want to aspire to be like. This guy owns, $1 million commercial building and this, and then that's where you'll be able to fill it in. You're never going to get it from your motivated sellers and like immediate like wholesalers.
That's
but
why we have Facebook groups, masterminds. It's
I will
lonely.
tell it is. You're right. It's lonely. What we do in wholesaling is so outside the norm of what people want to do, because people are just taught to be complacent, take what life gives you. It is what it is, and embrace the grind. And we're the completely opposite. Wholesaling, you go out and get what's yours, and then you create your lifestyle.
You know what they say.
There's no one to go find a blueprint for that that's going to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you in wholesaling, it's work. It takes a lot of commitment, and you are going to be very lonely when you start. It's the truth, guys. There's no coaching program that's going to advertise that up front. Am I correct, Dylan?
Definitely true. That was one thing. One of the things I've greatly underestimated.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working my way through it. I'm a very personable, like a communal person. And so to not be engaging with people anywhere near the rate at what I was. I mean, I'd wake up and start talking to people from dusk to dawn all day, and I love it. I thrive in that. And to go from that to sitting in my little office in my room, my bedroom converted office, for 12 hours a day on my own is, it's just, it takes a high amount of mental fortitude, I would say, to be able to get up and do that day after day, knowing that that's not going to like change anytime soon.
Well,
I get it.
It will change. You got to kind of have some faith in it, and you got to have the discipline to keep getting through it. Most people can't get through that first 3 to 5 months of discipline. And
is it normal to not get a deal for your first 4 months? I feel like I'm super on the low end.
normal. There's no normal in wholesaling.
There's no normal.
I've seen people get it in 2 days. I've seen people wait a year, and it's the same. The one thing is you just have to be consistent. The only way you're going to be consistent is be disciplined. I will tell you, you ain't going to be doing this 10 to 12 hours every day. You're in a grind right now trying to figure it out, and you're throwing as many hours as you can at it, which is what you need to do. But the reality is that should cut down to 2 to 4 hours. And then 2 to 4 hours comes down to like an hour or two when you decide how you want to make it work. I'm just telling you, dude, listen, I grind all by myself 7 years, dude. I did exactly what you did. You ain't telling me anything I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
There is a bit of like, here's the truth, that there is a bit of a satisfaction doing it yourself, because you'll get so good at it, you'll think no one else can do what you do. And then you get to go through that struggle. Like, you think I wanted to try answering phones when I started? It was scary, but I had to go, okay, he can do it. Then I had to teach him how to teach other people. And that's how you grow as a business owner.
Rick, when you were started, I know you did this for many years on your own. Did you ever get to a point where you wanted to bring on a partner who complemented your skill set? If you were more of like a visionary type, did you ever want to bring on an integrator? Or if you're more, of an integrator, you want to bring on?
It's complicated.
It's sexier than it actually is.
You spend a lot of time in court.
Yeah, it's.
You know how many partners, dude, I've had?
They never go.
You have no idea.
I mean, I left my father's company because of a partner situation that I just ended up leaving. So I know that it doesn't always end up in rainbows.
That's the problem. So if you wind up like a 50-50 partner and they decide not to pull their weight,
well, it's like this.
It creates a lot of animosity.
I'll tell you this. Here's a pretty important part. Statistic. You know what people do? They'll go meet someone randomly and decide to be a partner, like with them full time in the business within 2 months. It's like finding somebody and being married like a month later.
It's worse.
And then 8 months later, you figure out all the demons the person has, and then they're lazy, and then it's not good. That's the problem I think a lot of people do. Oh, you're in this county, and let's partner up 50-50. Let's do it all together. And then you find out it's a nightmare, and you're starting to do well, and they're not. it's not good.
Even employees,
That's
like
the issue.
like you still have to unwind them and do it. So if you ever have someone that has the potential, work on like 2 or 3 deals with them and just see how their attitude is. There's something,
JV agreement. Don't do an actual business.
it keeps them honest.
Yeah.
Like till the end. But I wouldn't form a partnership till you had like 2 years track record with someone. Dude, people are
JV
nuts out
prenup.
there.
That's the way I used to.
JV
It's
prenup.
a JV prenup. You're not locked
Yeah.
in if the person messes up.
Yeah.
You just have a JV on that deal, and you're protected.
Because once you put them on that checking account and stuff like that, you need lawyers to unwind it, and it's as bad as a divorce. So, if you're thinking about bringing somebody in, always give them a long trial run and make sure like they demonstrate themselves. Because once you got them on the checking account, it might sour you so bad you'll leave the entire business. So I brought in 2 or 3 partners, and it was the same thing every time. It was just like 3 months of hard work, and then they went like MIA. And then they're like, "Well, I don't understand. I'm on the checking account. I'm on this." I'm just like, I don't care. I just call.
I can tell you this right now. There's only one person I trust in real estate, and that's him. Like, you're the only person I can 100% trust that's not going to screw me over on it. Like, it's so hard to like do that.
It's challenging, guys. Don't do a partner unless
it's hard.
You're someone you've been committed with for like a super long time. And it's I just kind of.
I think I'm just getting like frustrated and maybe looking at like as an easier way out, because I'm banging my head against the desk every day trying to learn, all these systems and integrate my Podio API to my dialer and automate the SMS campaign. And
you're making it complicated.
And I just, dude,
our team still manually puts in the Podio because we don't complicate this business.
We tried it. We got lost at
Also,
like everyone. We spent more time training on the CRM, and I just like, dude, I don't even know how to open it anymore.
And this is the most important part too. You think it's easier getting a partner? Here's the issue. That means if you have a partner with someone, you have to double your revenue just to make it break even.
Correct.
That's another issue. So if you're making 100,000, you see someone else making 100,000, you combine, like, when we combine forces, let's say I was making 100, you were making 200, or you're making 100, and both now we make 200. There's no difference. We should collectively be making 400 to make it a positive thing. You're in the hole once you do that. There's people talking about wholesaling. They have like 5, 6, 7, 8 partners. It's like,
dude, like, I don't understand how they do it. You can't, like, there's only so much money in the business. So and remember, everyone needs payroll. They need this. And honestly, a true wholesaling business, it's like, you got to almost go, listen, nobody touches the money until there's 50 grand in the bank account.
And there's a reason
why you need to have a buffer for expenses and stuff like that. And partners are like, oh no, wait a minute. My wife's going to kill me if I don't get 10 grand out tomorrow. It's like, that's the drama I deal. You kind of deal with business partners. If you have someone you've done another business with, they've demonstrated it, they're dynamite, that's something to consider. But it's tough, man. If you get someone like Raw, just do a trial basis, have them work on a deal, do a JV, and then honestly, you need a lot more than one deal. I've watched people change overnight. It drives me nuts.
There's a reason why our employees get a percentage of the deal, not a percentage of our net profits and equity in the company.
Yeah.
Profit sharing, not equity sharing. I think that's pretty important. But yeah, man, like,
it won't fix it. It'll actually just create more problems
I
for you.
hate saying keep it up, but keep it up. That's the thing.
Hey, I think that's the only thing to do. But man, let me tell you guys, I know I tell you this every time, but I want to make sure I go out of my way to say it, because it has been so valuable in me on this journey. But just getting to talk and like talk these things out, there's a huge amount of value on like the actual direct information, and then from just like my own mental and emotional state of like navigating through this, talking to people that have done it, that have been through the same process and overcome it. Man, it is incredibly powerful. And so again, as always, just very appreciative, very thankful for it.
This guy, dude, he's going on a live while he's working out. What are you working out on today?
Chest and tries.
Okay.
Man, I used to go like 5-6 days a week, especially back when I was in college, and for years and years afterwards. But now when I started this is the least amount I've ever exercised since starting this endeavor. This is the least amount I've ever done anything else since pretty much the 90% of my waking life is centered around
don't
this.
stop working out, because that creates other problems.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm a big fan of like keeping moving till the day you die. So
I'm doing these lives till I'm 70, 80. You're going to keep doing lives for a long. That's why you got to keep working out.
It's
Grant Cardone's like 63, 64.
Nah.
and he's just going out there for hours and hours.
Yeah, you
so.
guys, like, honestly, like I work out. It's like a mental break for me because I know you know the feeling. I know exactly what to do. I know what I can do. I know my reps. I know how to push myself.
My best ideas always come from like when I'm not working.
Well, me and him work out at the same gym, and he'll just come up. Hey, I got an idea. I'm just like, dude.
That's how we came up
Like,
with freewholesaling.com.
I gotta stop my music. It's just like drive me nuts. And then when I bench press him, he gets upset. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, you guys know, you realize like what an amazing situation that is to be as a son working with your father, as a father working with your son. Ricky had said something early on when I started watching you that resonated, and you were like, I want to leave a legacy. Like, why am I doing all this? I'm not getting paid for this. Like, I want to leave a legacy. And I look at the way that you are with your son, with Zach, and I'm like, man, I want that with my kid, you know, sometime in the future. And I'm not too much younger than you were when you started. You know, you started at 33. I'm 29 now. So, you know, just watching the way that you guys have been able to structure your life through this vehicle of real estate wholesaling. I mean, I'm hoping to be able to do something similar in my own right.
It goes quick, and the thing is, if people just take more action and do what they say they're going to do as opposed to saying what they're going to do, and that's like the biggest difference. Like with him, it's like if he sees what you do, like I don't understand what you do, I'm like, okay, let me show you what I did. A lot of people think I forced it on him. Actually, it's actually quite the opposite. He actually got a full college education. He got his own ride, went to the hardest school in Florida. And let's just get education out of the way. His mother was an educator. And I'm like, you know, you're ready to do business now. And he's like, but I gave him the taste in high school. So I told him my only education advice I gave him with college, I'm like, get through it as fast as you can. It's not the best time of your life. The world has changed.
But yeah, man, keep it up, dude. You got this. Get your workout in, man, and keep it up. We're always here every week, and get it up. We like it, man. So go.
Thank you, guys.
And get it going, man.
Thanks, Dylan.
Great to talk to you. Take care.
Hey, bud.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Boom. All right, just gotta keep it up, right? Like that's all we can say. So.
He does it while he's working out, though. That's commitment, dude. I gotta give it to him, man.
I'm telling you, we come with a great.
I should have set it down. We should have made him like do a max bench press.
No.
While he tells us this is problems,
Yeah,
that'd be funny as shit.
No.
Sorry.
All right, so we got.
Reminds me of that guy who walked in the gym. Remember that thing's like, ah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're all standing around. I'm like, dude, the guy's about to die.
All right, we're not gonna get breaking into that. But
okay.
Amelia, what is up?
What's going on, man? That's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But
and I got it, man. Took a break to get the knowledge. That's awesome. Put a break on gains.
Emilio, that's a slick name, dude. I like that name.
Oh yeah.
Who's the famous actor? Emilio, is it Estevez?
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, you're close.
The Mighty Duck Man.
I like it. So where you at, Emilio?
I'm in Oregon.
Oregon.
Southern Oregon.
Okay.
So,
man.
What
was that?
What's new, man?
What's new with me is, well, wife and I just had our firstborn like 3 weeks ago. That's new with us. Thanks, man. Life changing. I love it. Total game changer. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Are you getting any sleep?
Oh, no. That is.
People don't understand that. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you don't understand, man. The kid's kicking and crying.
You know, people told us like, oh, get ready for no sleep. And you're like, oh, yeah, I get it. But no, I didn't get it until.
That no sleep thing's real, dude. It's like, it really, like, you start walking around like a zombie, dude. It's like, my God, this thing won't stop crying.
Oh, yeah. Taking calls and meetings in your vehicle, you know, trying not to wake them.
Okay. Well, congrats, man.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I just had a quick question. So something's come up where, you know, could be a possible, you know, good solution for my wife and I. So, you know, around where I live, house prices, you know, like in good areas, they're getting pretty pricey, you know, and for us to go and get like a traditional loan, we would only get like approved for, you know, lower income homes, or not lower income homes, but like lower priced homes. And, you know, now that we're a family of 3, you know, I was telling her, like, well, you know, we got to wait till the houses go down, right? well, I had a family member, my stepmom, so my brother's mom, she's looking to sell her home and buy a new home or like downsize.
Uh-huh.
But her situation is my brother, who's, 23, lives with them, and she doesn't want to be the bad guy and kick him out, and and all that good stuff. Well, I started talking to her. I was like, well, what if my wife and I were to come and get your house, and my brother could stay, because it's a 3-bedroom and we only need 2, and we could work something out. And I brought up, like, I've heard about it. I was like, what if we took over your mortgage? Like, the mortgage stays in your name and we pay the mortgage, and somehow create a win-win scenario where we could get into a nicer home in a good area. And, then she could go and basically get her new house.
I'll say this right. I don't deal with family at all when it comes to like real estate deals. That's the last person I'll deal with.
Yeah.
I don't want to break down a story, but like, I mean, we've had situations where, family friends are trying to sell their property and they're rough. We don't even touch that, even though we know it's a perfect wholesaling deal, what, like, so we just don't,
Yeah, you've
it's an ethics thing for us.
you have to work out
Yeah.
the
You're
family
gonna have to work,
dynamics.
yeah.
So there's only 2 things. Can you deal with your brother and live with them? Because a lot of people, like, you have a family with your brother, so you got to make sure that's going to fit. And number 2, is it your stepmom or is
Well, it's my dad's ex-wife, but I
Okay.
mean, she was my stepmom for when I was like 3
Does
years
she-
old. So
does she need a new loan to buy the new house?
that's what they're figuring out, because I talked to her about it and I was like, I'm not too knowledgeable on it, but I've heard it's a thing. But she's even told me that she's willing to, like, because we live in an apartment, and man, she's even told me, she's like, if we can just switch, you come to the house and we'll live in the apartment just for now.
Yeah, I mean, this is easy. You just got to work out the family dynamics. The rest is just paperwork. So you got to
Yeah.
answer that first question, the first and second question.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not really like
Well-
an investment. If you can get it and it works out and nobody gets upset in the family, it's extremely doable. So the fact that you have a relationship with them, it's a no-brainer.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
living with my brother, my wife and I, we, like, so at first, like, about a year ago, we've talked about renting her house because she wanted to rent it, and with my brother there, and we're like, okay. And so my wife and I talked about it, and we've come to the conclusion, like, if this is what it has to do, like, us living with my brother, and I mean, he's rarely ever there,
Yeah.
he's an artist and he's out, like, working in his studio every day, all night. And so it's not really a problem with, like, living with him,
Emilio, I'm just telling you, man, we are not good at giving advice like this because it's a lifestyle thing,
It's personal.
Like, technically for us, like, what's the point of us even owning houses we live in if we can just rent and then spend that money on creative financing deals? Like, you can get the nitty gritty of things. It's like, well, financially it makes sense to have 50 roommates, but like, we can't help you on the personal side. It's up to you. It's like, financially, it would make sense to have roommates in every bedroom, but I mean, you got a kid, right? So like, we're not that. I don't have any kids. I'm not married, so I can't give you advice on that. You've been through a couple of kids.
I give marriage advice.
I'm just telling you. I've lived with my sister I lived with her 18 years. Love her to death. We drive each other crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I couldn't live with my brother. Dude, I'd choke him out. I would literally, me and him almost killed each other growing up. So you have a personal decision to make. If you decide to do it, basically she can set the paperwork
you
up.
also have a wife, so you got to.
Well, thank you for.
Well, yeah. So we've talked about it, and we're actually kind of like we've got a good connection, like, with my brother and all that. So that's why I was kind of trying to figure out, like, how could that be, like, structured, to where, because
it's simple. It's
in my
simple.
head, it kind of makes sense, but then it does.
So all you have to do if you come to an agreement, what I would do is I would just do an option and a rental all at the same time. An option says you give her X amount of dollars. Just because her family doesn't mean she doesn't deserve something if she gives you this deal. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's
you
what I
gotta
wanna
work
try
all
to
that out. I'm not
win-win.
here to advise you on that. But so an option is I give you 1,000, I give you 3,000, I give you 5,000 for the option to buy this house 36, 60 months, 90 months, 100 months down the road for XYZ price. And then what you do is set a rental rate. And obviously you got to make it so it's fair to you and fair to her.
Yeah.
And that way nobody gets hurt. If you don't exercise your option in like 60 months, she keeps the house, like whatever you need to do. You might decide your cash flow is so great over the next 2 years, you go out and traditionally cash her out. However you want to do it. In the
Yeah.
meantime, if she's buying her other house, she can use that current house she has that she's willing to let you move into as a rental to offset her debt to income ratio to see if she qualifies for a new mortgage. Sometimes people don't qualify for the new mortgage and they need all the cash and the equity out of that house to make that work. So you'll have to find that out. But all you give her an option payment and then you structure a deal to cash it out in X amount of months. And then whatever the rental rate is, 800, 1,500, whatever you guys think the fair number is, and you're good with it, that's easy. There's no, and then you can record a memorandum saying it's a memorandum of your option. It just gives you the right to buy the house somewhere down the road for X, Y.
Okay, so like for instance, like she's telling me that right now they pay like $1,400 a month, and that's for their mortgage payment, electricity, and all that, like all their expenses. So for us to come in, would we have to like pay that on top of like, you know?
So here's the beauty. It's all negotiable. Like it's whatever like you can do because they're family.
Yeah.
Means I can't really help you on this part. So I don't worry about what the utilities are. If her mortgage payment is $1,200 a month, find out if the taxes and insurance is included.
Yeah.
And if you say, listen, we're going to give you $3,000 up front, and I'll give you another $5,000 when it sells, whatever you decide on the payment. And then what we'll do is we'll just take over your monthly mortgage payment until we cash it out. And then you set it up online. It's really kind of that simple.
Okay.
I don't know what she's going to accept. She might want $1,500 a month and she want to make $100 off of you. I don't know. I can't do that part for you. So
Yeah.
in a perfect world, give her a little bit of money up front.
Yeah.
Take over her entire mortgage payment. Take her the house.
Yeah.
And say, listen, within 5 years, I plan on cashing you out of this house. But if not, you either give it back to her or you cash her out early. It's really that simple. It's subject to is exactly what it sounds like. You take over her payment, and I would leave her name on there for at least a couple of years until you find out if you truly want to buy the house or not.
Yeah.
That way it gives you and your wife options. If your brother starts driving you nuts, you can figure stuff out and kind of go from there. But you really just got to get the whole family involved.
Yeah.
And we're not the guys to sit there and kind of tell you whatever you guys agree on, you can do. That's the beauty of anything with real estate, especially in creative financing. So if you can just take over the payment, give her some money up front, that's a simple way to put it together. If she's open to that, put it together. If you need help, reach out to us. It's pretty straightforward. It's not complicated at all.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to figure out. Cause like, yeah, I don't want to like, you know, be like, oh, we're gonna get this house and you get. No, I wanted to figure out like how to where she makes money, of course, and then we're able to get into a house that, you know, traditionally we wouldn't have been able to get into.
So what's the value of the house roughly? Just an idea.
I kind of, so it needs some work. It's like the house is stuck in the 70s. So
just spit me a number, Amelia, roughly.
like 340.
Okay. So, you know, just sit down with your wife and have a discussion and understand if you were to buy a house for 340, you probably pay $12,000 alone just in closing costs right up front, and you get no benefit for it. So if you can compensate her and let her know that like you're the owners, but you got to be very clear that you and your wife would become the owners. It's not like you're not the tenants, you are the owner. The best way to solidify it is give her a chunk of money up to let her know like you're in it for real. So if you're going to pay $10,000 to $12,000 in closing cost up front, understanding if you were going to pay her, say, $325 for the house and you gave her $5,000 up front, then you'd owe $320 when the house is going to sell if you agreed on that price. So involve your wife with it and kind of go through it. The beauty of family is you're probably going to go through 10 or 12 exploratory discussions with her on it. But it's kind of an easy one.
Yeah.
It's up to you what you want to update on the house, stuff like that. It's all with like you and your wife. But only take it with you knowing you're going to be 100% the owner and she's looking at you as the owner of the property, not the tenant. Because the last thing you want is family telling you, why'd you do that? Or like when she comes over, be like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Like,
No, like I've talked to her. I was like, yeah, we'd be the owner, but your name would be on the mortgage. And I told her, I was like, and if anything, let's say a lot of people are worried about what if you miss a payment? And I'm like, well, we can write it to where if we miss a payment, instead of going through foreclosure, you guys just get the property back and whatever we've paid you.
correct. Or you could have like a payment or two in escrow ahead of time so she feels comfortable that it's all done. You could pay her, she can pay the mortgage. You just got to find out what everyone's comfortable with. The more you take off her hands and you prove your ability, you'll usually put them at ease. But this goes with any seller, not even family, when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just have the discussion and just start walking down it. And I think you need to have a serious discussion with her and make sure you are your wife's on board with what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
You got it. It's an easy one, man. The family stuff, actually, it's easier, but it's harder. Like, I get it. So just make sure everybody's comfortable. And then you're going to have to talk to her, your wife, and your brother. So you're going to have 3 different good conversations. Because you don't want to walk into a situation where it's like you've walked into like hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that can happen with family. So I've been there.
Well, awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys very much for all you do, all the information, bro. It's life changing.
Okay, keep it going. Let us know how it worked out, man. It's an easy one. Just have the discussions and really full disclosure and make sure everyone's expectations are met. Otherwise, to go another route.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for the info. You guys have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Thanks. Guys, if you're watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe, guys. Please. I'm telling you, go out there, smash that like button and subscribe. Just take a second real quick while we're talking here to hit that like button. Click that like button. That's the easiest thing you could possibly do.
Backwards or frontwards?
I think it's a frontwards, but it's fine. Guys, you're on Facebook. Share this video if you can. I'd appreciate it. Getting some questions. How do I join, guys? Got to go to Wholesaling Houses for Real on Facebook. That is our group.
Yeah, we're not going to like cheat and put it on here anymore, are we?
I did that a couple weeks ago. I want to give a little test of like, hey, what happens when you're in the group? What do you get? You get one-on-ones with us. Like,
yeah.
And you're not paying for it. I want people to join the greatest mastermind. I want to make it a true mastermind. And how do you do that? I got to force people to get on there by just doing it. And it makes it a lot easier. Only 5-7 people can go on there usually because not a lot of people are going to go on that and actually come on. So shout out to everyone that came on today. It takes action. It takes courage,
guts.
It takes guts to do that.
Yeah, if you can deal with us, you can deal with anyone. Yeah. But listen, whatever question you got, I guarantee 500 people have the same question. So take advantage of it.
Shout out to Stoney. Stoney's the comment goat today. Stoney's just been he's been answering questions.
I love it.
Means the world, just trying to provide value. Stoney's been providing value in the comments. So shout out to Stoney Madison. If Stoney can do us a favor and comment below his info, if he wants someone to JV with him, put your market, whatever. We'd love to just display it, man. You've been helping everyone out. So oh yeah, man. So he's been out there doing really well. So everyone's asking joining the link. Love Brandon. Brandon's been on here a couple times. Guys, you gotta join on the Facebook group. That's how we get it going. So let's get some questions going here. It says, Stoney said, I think my comment got deleted on Facebook. Facebook's weird, man. I'm just going to be honest. Like through Facebook, they'll just delete stuff randomly. Like I don't really have much control over Facebook. They love deleting comments.
Filter book.
It's filtered pretty heavy. I know YouTube will filter too. Like if you say a bunch of like curse words, like they'll filter out. So just be careful.
Should I test that out?
Don't be testing this out. No. No,
no testing.
No testing here. So let's get some questions. Gavin says, is it rude to ask another wholesaler for their contract? If you're a cash buyer, it is not rude. If you're going to, if you're signing that contract, you need to give that contract to the cash buyer because they're buying, not the real estate, they're buying the contract. And to buy a contract, you should probably look at it, right?
So I mean, it can be a two-part question. Gavin might be asking for the just the blank contract, so he has something like to work with.
Yeah.
Which you can go to freewholesaling.com. We'll share it with you. Or you're going to ask for the contract when you're looking to buy or do a JV or any type of daisy chaining. To be honest with you, with an assignment, you have to see the contract. So no, it's not rude on either side. The worst they're going to do is say no to you.
Did I hear your hand? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you smashed it.
Oh, oops.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
You did it twice.
Oh my God. All right.
I'm sensitive.
Let's see here. One of my fears being completely off. That's all righty. Assume you meant 200 properties.
Prospects.
Let's see here. Some great questions.
You might want to put one up.
I'm looking. A lot of these people are JVing though, you know.
I know.
Damien asks, do you take any days off of wholesaling real estate? I wouldn't consider it. I mean, I have not gone through a day without thinking about wholesaling or a day where we haven't produced leads. I'd technically say no, but there's obviously days where I'm not actively in the business, but
yeah, I mean,
I have people working for us that will. So
yeah.
Technically no, technically yes. You know, like
you got to have some fun.
Yeah, like technically right now we're not actively wholesaling real estate. Like,
are we working right now?
No,
we're not.
We're not. We're having this is a hobby. So just letting you know, like it's kind of relative, you know, just think about like that. So let's see, keep going here, guys. Jeez Louise. All right. Let's see.
Just a lot of statements today, huh?
A lot of statements. They're great though.
A lot of statements.
We talked about this. So Juan Era's talking. I love it. Let's go all the way here. Do you have a proof of agreement contract? Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is. A proof of funds? Proof of agreement.
I assume it's a purchase and sales agreement,
Yeah.
but if you go to freewholesaling.com, I believe everything's in there for you. So
that's what I'd
repost
say.
it if I didn't understand that correctly.
What does one do to get alive with you? Tonya, I'm telling you, Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group. The link is on there. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. It's a Facebook group. Links on there. Roseanne asked a great question here. Can I wholesale from the UK? Yes. It's called virtual wholesaling.
Yeah.
It's possible, right?
There's no borders on it.
Yeah.
You just got to follow the laws.
It's pretty simple to do. So let's answer this real quick. Got Brandon on here. Say hi to Brandon real quick.
I'd love to somebody who wholesales in the UK. That'd be really fascinating.
Cool. Brandon, what's up?
Hey, how you guys been?
Doing good. How are you?
What's up, Brandon?
It's kind of hard to hear you guys.
How about
Speak
now?
up, Zach.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I think I have my headphones here. You guys are kind of lagging.
I think we're good. He's in his car. That's the problem.
He's in his car.
I can hear you guys. How you guys been?
Good, man.
Blessed, man.
Good. So, you know, I've come across my first potential deal since the last time we talked. Let me just there. And we're coming close to closing, and I got a call from my buyer today, and he was saying that you know, that the amount of taxes that will come across the deal, or my cut is going to be around the 30 to 40%. Is that, you know, on an average basis, you know, when you guys, you know, close a deal?
No, you should not be. They should not take taxes out of your wholesaling check. Is that what you mean?
So you're talking about the property taxes?
I'm gonna assume that, I'm not sure which taxes it is, but you know, it's taxes is what.
Brandon, those are two completely things, man. If someone's withholding taxes, that's completely different than if you're paying a portion of the property tax. The seller should be paying the property tax. That should be something you're not paying.
Mm.
And then if they're holding money from you, then no, title companies aren't supposed to be doing that. They'll
No,
1099 you should be fine. Brandon, you have to request the HUD.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, Brandon. I will personally do this for you. Email the HUD at support@flipwithrick.com and then put in the subject line urgent. Use like a red fire emoji or something. So like I see it, I'll look for it tonight or tomorrow. Show me the HUD. If you trust me, we'll look at it privately and we'll help you out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could tell you, because I'd be like, oh, show me the HUD. Don't show the HUD here.
Taxes have nothing to do with you.
Send us the HUD and we'll look at it. We can help you out. It has to be spelled out there, right?
So did you tell the seller you're paying all the closing costs?
No, I told that the buyer will be paying those fees.
Okay. So this shouldn't be affecting you. So there's a miscommunication somewhere. So the HUD is the fastest way to get an answer. If you got a closing tomorrow, I mean, get it over to us as soon as possible. But here, there's only two types of taxes, so you guys can understand. There's property tax, which is just a bill. So an example, if the property tax bill was $1,200 for the year, theoretically $100 a month is charged. So if you were your buyer was going to buy the property, say in June, 6 months gets credited back to the seller. Well, the seller pays for 6 months of that bill, which is $600. And then the buyer is going to pick up the other proration of it. I'll be honest with you, in the end of November, it gets a little bit screwy because taxes come due November 30th. So
every place is a little different.
It's a little bit different, but it's that shouldn't be affecting your net at all. The other one is just the taxes to close, which they call doc stamps, usually every state. That's the fee the state charges to record the document so they can take their hush money.
Yeah.
And that's just part of like closing fees, and they're in there. So unless you committed to pay 100% of all your seller's closing fees, when we get really good deals, we do it all the time. If you didn't commit to that, then none of that stuff should be affecting your net.
Brandon, like the easiest thing is that email us the HUD request, like email right now so they see it if they get up early, send it to us and figure it out. Because if it's the cash buyer that's not paying their share of the closing costs they're trying to give to you, make sure the cash buyer does it, because it should be stated in the assignment agreement that they have to. We'll help you out. That's what we're thinking. Like,
yeah,
we have to see the HUD,
Who gave you that information that you were, paying that, 30% plus?
No, so what he said to me, or what my buyer said to me, is that
it's the buyer.
Yeah.
It's the title company should be telling you.
The title company basically quarterbacks the deal.
They're the ones paying you, not the
so
cash
unless
buyer.
you have an agreement that like you agreed to something crazy way outside the lines, remember the title company is supposed to be neutral. They're only supposed to do what the paperwork allows.
What did the cash buyer tell you?
Okay, so I'll tell you the story. He said that, hey, Brandon, just wanted to let you know that, your deal is going to be, cut by your taxes, eventually, because taxes or whatever will be coming up soon. So I just wanted to offer you under the table offer instead of going through title.
Dude, listen.
Keep it on the table, man.
Keep everything on the table, because
if
you do it on the table, they're going to screw you.
Yeah, and also if you do it under the table, it's not like, all right, let's say you agree to pay me $2,000 under the table for a job. I go to the cops like, he didn't pay me.
Yeah,
it's all under the table, bro. If like something screwy happens, this cash buyer sounds screwy to me.
Yeah.
Keep it over the table. Keep it all legal.
And Brandon,
man,
how comfortable are you with the title company?
Well, I had a conversation with them today, and they weren't too openly, with me. I still had more questions to ask, and they hung up the phone on me. So
person.
Did you were you in charge of finding the title company or your buyer?
My buyer. found it.
Okay, so here's what's going on, just so you know. Just you're getting played here a little bit. You always want to control the title company.
That's rule 1 on
Okay.
freewholesaling.com.
You're going to learn this. Hopefully we can save this for you. Having your title company is you have a relationship with that person. They know how you operate, and they want to make sure everything works out fairly, because once you give them the business, they're loyal to you. They're being loyal to your buyer because they brought them the business. But here's the dude, you need to get in your car and get over there.
No, it's 7 p.m.
Not now, but in the morning with your contract, and you have rights. They can't sit there and manipulate. I think your buyer's trying to completely manipulate
He's trying
it.
to he's
they
trying
know
to
you're
cut
new.
your assignment fee. You're not getting the money back. All right, let's just break this down really quick. This is what. So what is the purchase price that for you?
For myself,
No, what is the purchase price with the seller?
that's
How much?
50,000.
50,000. What did the cash buyer agree to pay it for?
70,000.
70. So you need to make sure to tell the title company in person at 9 a.m. tomorrow that you need to get a check for $20,000.
That's it.
There's no 18. There's no 21. There's no 5. It is $20,000. If they sign the assignment of contract, it should state, our assignment of contract states that you agree I'm getting $20,000 on it. Maybe you use a different one, no big deal. But the way that you wrote it, even if you used a guru's contract, you need to demand $20,000. That is what's legally owed to you. Nothing under the table, no agreements. Hey, Mr. Buyer, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to keep it all legal.
Yeah.
He might say, well, man, come on. No,
Yeah.
$20,000. I have to keep this over the table. 20,000. That is what you need to demand. Not a penny less or a penny more. Because taxes for you, let's say you're only making 20 grand this year, which you're probably making more or less. I don't know. It's not going to be 30%. Once you're above 300, 250, tax brackets go up, obviously. We're not playing this game, man.
So you're talking about
$20,000.
personal taxes you owe to the government after
What are
you.
talking about?
Yes, dude,
No.
that's your business,
Yeah,
not
bro.
his branding.
And then you have to do self-employment tax. No, like he's not going to pay it for you. Let me ask you this. Did you give him your social security number?
No.
Then he's not going to pay the taxes for it because he'll
Yeah.
need that to give you a 1099 and to pay your portion of social security. So he's already not doing that. So he's already lying to you. I don't go like, all right, if you see the buyer, you have to be nice to him. Don't be like, F you, man. You got to be nice. You need to make sure you cannot demand anything less or more than $20,000. That's it.
Your personal taxes, they have no bearing.
Yeah.
They have no idea what goes on in your life. It's
Jeez.
ridiculous. And honestly, the reality, Brandon, you're going to pay about 15% when it's said and done. 30%, that's a joke. Nobody pays 30% in taxes. That's your business, though. That's for you to figure out, nobody else. That's none of it. You get your cash, and then you sit down with the accountant and figure it out. But I'm just telling you, I don't know what they're doing. You need to establish with the title company, you're the seller, and they need to abide by the terms of the contract. But like when you start hearing the words under the table, all this other stuff,
Yeah,
dude,
man.
run, because it's just
Demand
it's-
20 grand. Like that. I don't think there's much to talk about here. Demand the 20 grand. That's what you need. That's it, man. Right?
That's it, dude. I think he's
There's nothing
trying to
else.
play you. Like, so you got to stand up. You fought this hard. A lot of people fall asleep on this. So just, if you have a $20,000 spread coming to you, like the tax, like you pay your own taxes. It's none of his business. Like, forget it. He's not going to pay the tax. There's no physical way he can do what he's telling you unless he's got some sort of scam going on you. So
That's all I can tell you, man. Right? That's it.
$20K, Brandon,
Does
go
he
get
have
it.
Does he have a non-refundable deposit?
The EMD?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have EMD.
All right. How much did he put in there?
5,000.
Make sure he knows it's 5,000 EMD. We have to go legally with that is. So you, Mr. Buyer, I'm trying to protect you so you don't lose that $5 grand.
Yeah.
So make sure you do that. Don't threaten him like you're going to lose 5 unless you give me the 20. The title company, you demand 20. That's it.
And Brandon, if like he's giving you a hard time, go listen. I talked to my lawyer. He looked over all the paperwork. You guys owe me the 20 grand. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Here's the difference. The title company owes you 20 grand, not the buyer.
Yeah.
So talk to the title company. the cash price will be like, what's up, man? I thought it was good. You're going to make 15. I was going to help you out.
No.
20. Okay. You're good to go, man.
Yeah.
Got it.
Stand up. Yeah. Stand up. And in the future, when you get a deal, find a title company that will fight for your interest, and you won't get any of this garbage. So they probably know this guy, and he goes, well, I have a deal with Brandon, and he'll go away.
And they're going to go by that.
And don't
He's trying to bully you. Don't be bullied, man.
You. Don't do it. You work too hard. Get your 20 grand. If that's what you agreed on, that he's just the buyer. His job is to bring the money. That's it. He's not here to negotiate things.
He's like a very, well, I could say he's gonna make it sound like it makes sense because he's done this a lot. It makes no sense. He's not getting your social security number. He ain't gonna pay your taxes. That's how you pay taxes. Like they're gonna ask your social, and he's gonna put the social in and pay it for you. Anyone can pay. If you have my social, you can pay my taxes for me. He's not doing that. He's just pocketing the money. So no, okay, 20 grand, right?
20 grand.
That's it. You got this, man. 9 a.m. Go there
and be nice about it. But I'm just telling you, the buyer's job, his only job is to leave the money at the title company. Like he has no other say in anything. Your relationship with the title company, unless you threw something crazy in that contract, they should owe you the 20 grand.
You got this, man.
So, and you know what? I would limit your interaction with that seller because they're trying to manipulate you. So just, I wouldn't be at the title company when they're there. It's just my suggestion.
Do you mean the buyer or the seller?
Buyer.
Meant the buyer. The seller, you need to make them always happy, no matter how much you pay. But when the new buyer's there, I wouldn't be sitting in the other room because he's just going to ask you for money the whole time. He's just going to beat you up. I'm just telling you. They're already beating you up right now. Like, I'm going to pay your taxes and stuff. It's going to be 10 times worse in person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, so I got 2 more things. And so how long does it usually take for you guys to close on a deal?
Well, it just depends. So it's when we're doing like a wholesale deal, it's a solid 30 days.
30 days. I could tell you we do as close as 2 weeks. Most title companies will tell you 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we like it. If we need to close something quick because we're getting a smoking deal and we offered it to it, we usually got to give the title company like 2 weeks. You just got to set up everything. And most people, unless the house is empty, then we can go 2 weeks. When we got somebody in there.
Yep. That's it.
But it's all built around our seller, what their needs are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He said it was going to take about 3 weeks to do it. So,
he's just trying to scramble around and get money. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
So I actually had my own title company that I could have gone with, but I went with his. So that was my mistake. And I told him, I said, hey, I need the money and I want the whole full assignment and not he offered me 14 grand on the side. Yeah. So I said, hey, I'm gonna have to decline this. We agreed on 20K. So
yeah, it makes no sense. He's just trying to get a discount. You're still going to owe taxes on the 14, so you might as well get the 20 so you can have money to pay your taxes. So and nobody knows your personal situation. So in the future, just get your title company, and that way you don't have like that friend relationship going. And like our title company listen, your buyer's being a little squirrely. Like they will not come up with the EMD or do something like that, or they try to change your assignment agreement. And we know it like right away. So having a title company in your back pocket, it's like having the home field advantage in any type of sporting event. So deal with it. I would keep a very close rope on the title company. The title company is who you need to manage. This guy has to understand, if he doesn't pay you the 20 grand, he has pain. He has a lot of pain. He'll lose his 5 grand and he'll be default of the contract. So like it's ridiculous what he's doing. I hate people like that. Go get your 20 grand. You got it.
I was just about to ask. So if you guys are in my situation, would you tomorrow, would you call the title and say, hey, this is what we established a couple
9 a.m. Call them at 9 a.m. That's it.
You have a contract and an assignment. They need to follow it to the T.
I agree. That's all you got. Just call, demand the 20K. There's nothing more. We can't make this more complicated. Yeah. 20 grand. That's what I'm deserved.
Go get it, Brandon.
They have the assignment. They can read it. Easy as that.
You
It's,
guys,
it's not negotiable. That's why there's paperwork. The
Yep.
guy's a slick talking salesman. He's trying to trick you into it. Don't buy it.
appreciate you guys so much.
Let us know the outcome. And if
Yeah,
you need
man.
anything, send us that stuff over. He's got it.
Thanks, Brandon.
Have a good one, guys.
Okay,
Thanks.
man.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. That is wholesaling real estate with no money. Thank you guys so much. Guys, smash that like button and subscribe, and we appreciate it. Have a great one.
See you guys. I appreciate your
See you
time.
guys. Smash that like button and subscribe. Thanks.